Like, can you guys
Specifically in the long straight in the
can you
middle section of the track
can
here.
you see my track map here on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
like
Yep.
brand. Okay, so from now to the end of time, I highly, highly advise you before any race you ever go into to take a look at a track map, because track maps are your best friend.
We have them all.
We have them all. There's a channel called Track Maps, and you can go and see every track map in the game, which is great. And the reason why track maps are awesome is that it gives you a place to plan for if you're going to, get past or overtake or need to bail out of something. You can plan those things in advance. So brands, even though it's tight and narrow, has basically three good areas to do it. And I'm going to do them in level of priority, from my opinion. But my opinion is from going from turn 4 into turn 5, because it's pretty straight. Turn 8 into turn 9, because even though it's short, it's still kind of straight, and then coming around Clark, going into Paddock, which I don't love because the racing line into Paddock isn't particularly straight, and the car's really bouncy, so it can kind of be a little misleading when a car's bouncing around the road. You don't exactly know what it's trying to do. But before we get to the top of the hill, like shit, right? If I see you slowing down, I'm just gonna blast right by. It makes it relatively easy for the leaders and for the back markers to kind of negotiate around each other, because then you're not just checking up in some random place. You also want to try to find places where you can do it where it won't hurt your race too bad. So if you're going down Surtees and you kind of lift marginally down the midway of Surtees, you're not going to lose that much momentum, but it's going to be just enough to let the leader go by, right? Because I don't want you to lose 5 seconds because you parked it at the end of Surtees where you have to come to a dead stop, right? That makes no sense. But I don't want you to do it at the very, very end of Hawthorns when we're at maximum speed, because then I have to pass you like a regular car, and that's risky. So, letting off the gas midway between these sections is enough that an alert driver will look over and be like, oh, he's slowing down. Cool. I'm going to, just like if we were racing for position and the car ahead of me slowed down, I could just. Yeah.
I think there's a little confusion going down the main straight going into turn 1.
Sure.
What the racing line? Everybody's got, they kind of wander all over the track at the beginning of that,
Mm-hmm.
depending on the grip they have in their tires.
Yep.
So I'm a little confused as to what the racing line is when you
Yeah.
go between turn 9 and turn 1.
Yeah.
It's
No, that
vague.
makes sense. Let's go over to boop, and let's go to free cam. Boop.
I'll jump in while you're trying to find it, Davin. The
Yeah.
main racing line is actually sticking to the right of the wall. I will not claim to have had this knowledge 5 days ago. I have to thank the other coaches for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the main racing line is along the wall, and then you kind of cut up to the left.
Yeah, right about
As
the
you're
start
going.
finish line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, different cars, and I say this specifically, different cars will have different lines into T1 because of how the rear end moves on you. So
Yeah.
mid-engine cars will get a little bit more rear end rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So they might tend to start a little bit wider to deal with that. Front engine cars can take a little bit of a shallower line. But all that being said, is just this is a kind of corner where, like, you can't assume what the car ahead is going to do lap to lap.
Right.
So you have to just be ready to go, okay, he might do something different next lap. And even though you might have been planning a move, if he's doing something different, you just have to have the self-control to just back out of it, because especially at a corner like that, it will end in tears.
First of all, free cam is stupid because I asked it to just leap ahead and like threw me over into turn 5 for no damn reason. But I jumped ahead to like the middle of the race so you can see turn 1 a little better with a bunch of rubber on the track. Can you guys see where the line kind of darkens here at the top of the hill?
Yep.
Yep. So you see how that black line kind of goes diagonally? Yeah. See how that kind of goes diagonally more to the right than it does to the left?
You're opening up the angle for turn 1. You're trying to make turn 1 wider by going to the left side of the track.
Because if you
and you're giving me PTSD by showing me in the pit at the end of the race.
No, it's all good. But if you look at if you look at the line right here, right, the corner itself curves and goes down. So you can't approach it straight on because you would go really deep into the corner in order to turn, and then you have to go really shallow to come back out. So you have to kind of take this diagonal line on the approach up so that you can get the rotation down the hill. There's 2 bumps in the middle of there that goes boom, boom, and then on the second bump, the car will settle and then kind of take off down the hill. But that's kind of the racing line into turn 1. Now, the reason why I don't love using this as like a back marker kind of overtaking spot is, Frank, exactly what you said. Is because it is a little vague for some folks of where the racing line needs to go. It's a little hard for someone to judge. Is that guy actually getting offline, or is he setting up to be online?
Yeah,
Because it goes diagonal across the track, right? So you would normally think, oh, I'll get to the outside, but that's where I want to go too. So in my mind, I'm like, well, shit. he's going for the racing line. I'm just going to wait for him or throw it in on him. So, if you're going to lift, you have to make a big noticeable lift where you're like, I am slowing down now, right? So that the car will just go by. You don't need to jump on the brakes or anything, but it just needs to be
Oh no. Yeah.
noticeable enough that it's like, clearly I'm going to pass this car. Hooray.
Yeah, at that
Right.
point, you'd be at least a 50% lift, and whoever's behind that kind of person needs to pay attention big
Pay
time.
attention.
Because
Yeah.
the closing speed would be stupid fast.
Stupid fast.
Yeah.
No, man, I'm not gonna lie. The last 4 laps of my race were emotionally a little frustrating because I was behind a back marker that I didn't want to throw it in on, but was going so slow that I was just backing up a train of guys for position behind me. And so I'm sitting in the middle of the road going, well, I'm not going to turn in a place that the guy behind me can get by, but I'm not going to ram into the car in front of me because he's not paying attention. So I'm just going to sit here and we'll just count the clock out. I wanted to win, but I guess I'm not doing that. Right? And you just have to wait until the race is over.
All right,
Wow.
let's start with Bones has lap 26,
Okay.
44:44 on the time.
Okay.
And
Speaking of the person behind you,
Haha.
who?
What car is he?
Let's see.
What car?
Who's sent me? I don't know. What's the car number, Bones?
1.
Oh.
Okay, number 1.
I'm in
shit.
third. Yeah, I'm right
Oh
behind you.
yeah, this is fun. We had fun. This is real fun. All right, you said 44:44.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna play it from here.
Yeah, made a move on Larry.
Yeah, this was stress. This was a lot of waiting. A lot of it.
I had a guy behind me too, and he was starting to catch up.
Oh
I'll just
man.
let him play.
After a while,
See, I was managing myself at this point too because I don't know who's in front of me, but I was trying to pace myself, and it was like, okay, this is not going to go well if we end up getting into this corner too deep.
yeah.
Yeah, so I sent it there on
No,
Larry.
that's fine. Sometimes you have to. Like,
that was quite clean though, if you think about it. That wasn't a send. That was I took a wide line like I normally do. You broke early, turned in hard, and took the inside line the whole way around. So
right.
technically, that was a textbook pass in that vicinity, knowing that I'm going to be a wide entry to begin with.
Right. So
Yeah.
we see how long
There was
able
really
to
nothing
pass
wrong
me.
with that.
right, and you're able to pass the 27 and get by safe. So
And then Larry followed.
The only thing I felt bad about is because I wasn't technically, my nose wasn't up to his behind really. He had
Run
that
it
corner.
back, Davin.
well, actually,
Or I felt like it.
before I run it back, I do have to make one comment.
Okay.
So we see how long this straight is, right? It's really long. We have plenty of time to do whatever we want. We're on the gas for a really, really, really long time. I'm up
Exactly.
here chasing this back marker all the way to the end of it. So it
That
doesn't make
was
sense.
Johnson.
It doesn't make sense to do that, right? Because this straight is really, 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 really long. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're here. So there's plenty of time for this back marker, especially with no one around him and no one in front of him, to let me go. Because I'm not gonna pull a full send. I'm just about to finish this race. I don't want to give away to the spot to the car that I can see in my rearview mirror by tangling with him, because any tangle is gonna eat shed loads of time. So a lift here, even here, would have been appreciated, right? Because there's plenty of time.
Fix that next time.
Down the hill and up the hill, right? That I would be like, oh, okay. But I couldn't. I had to stay on the throttle because if I lift, I'm screwed. I can't slow down. I'm in second. Right, but
Devin, I've got a question for you. In that environment, go ahead and go up to turn 5. Is it? Go ahead to where you start to go into turn 5.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it was this race or before. Right about there, I'm the back marker,
Mhm.
and somebody's trying to pass me, and I can stay wide for them. But there's 2 other people, probably first, second, and third. They're trying to lap me.
Mhm.
Do I need to stay over to let all 3 of them go by?
Hold your line.
Fair question. Hold your
Yeah.
line, right? So here's the thing
Yeah,
about
if I held my line.
here's the
Jeez,
thing about
I'd hold all
passing.
3 of them.
No.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about passing. From now to the end of time, right? We all need to pass in safe places
Yeah.
that are safe for our cars. Okay? Turn
Yeah,
5
I
at
know
100
you
miles an
say that,
hour.
yeah.
Yeah, no. Turn
Yeah.
5 at 100 miles an hour is never a safe place to pass for anybody.
Yeah.
Right? I think I've
Yeah.
probably only made like 3 passes in the history of Brands Hatch up turn 5, and because the guy fell off the damn road. Right?
I
Yeah.
made a pass on the outside there.
Right. I think I've made
Yeah.
one there.
Well,
and
yeah,
I was like, oh my God.
yeah.
Right?
The question was, I would lift in the straightaway and let that first car have the inside because it'll be beside me.
Right.
it's the number 2 and 3 cars that are coming up right on his tail. Now I'm outside, allowing number 1 to go through. I guess I have to. I have to stay outside. I can't.
Well, once you've stayed outside, you should stay there because it's dangerous to
Yeah,
weave amongst
that's
the traffic, right? So if
yeah.
you're in this position, you have a decision to make. You either are going to say, I'm not going to do jack shit until I get to turn 9, and you just have to deal with it. And everybody will grumble,
Mm,
and then they'll roll right by, and
yeah,
they won't really think about it. Or if you stay outside, you have to stay outside because you've now opened
yeah,
the door and you need to
yeah,
let the entire train through. But you've got a decision to make, right? Like
yeah.
I'm grumbly here as I'm following this back marker, but I don't do anything to him because I don't
Mm,
need to do anything to him, right? I don't know
mm,
if he's going to turn or how predictable he is, so it doesn't make sense to put a send on him. So I'm most of the time just sitting behind him, waiting, just kind of waiting for us to get to a safe spot, right? So when we got to
mhm.
turn 8, I tried to make a bit of a run up the corner so that I could be like, hey man, I've been here for a bit. It would be really cool if you got out of the way. But he's so far away
No.
now that he doesn't think he needs to do that anymore. So I'm like, whatever, I run the clock out. But here's another good place that would be a great place to slow down because the track is relatively straight. You could let the whole train through and almost stop if you wanted to, and they just no, right, and you just pick it back up again, right? But
Yeah.
that's my thing on back marker management. Like I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh my god, back markers jump out of the way, but I do ask for them to pay attention because they put their race at risk as you bunch up traffic. They're like sitting in the left lane. That is the best way I can think to explain it. You are sitting in the left lane on the freeway.
Doing
Right?
65
Yeah.
in an
Doing
80-mile an hour
65,
zone.
exactly. Doing 65 and an
Right.
80. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
Yeah,
part of
definitely
the
don't.
point, part of the point of confusion for me is because I'm a back marker and I got fast guys coming up behind me. I know you're there, and
Mhm.
I'm prepared to slow down after this next turn.
Mhm.
On the next straight.
Mhm.
But going into that turn, they come up inside of me. I mean, they come up, so
That's not okay.
you
Like
tend to
that's not okay.
move over.
It's the leader's responsibility to pass in a safe space, right? So
Yeah,
if they hit you, don't hit what you can see, right? Just
yeah,
because you're slower
yeah. I
doesn't mean
know.
they're well, no, seriously, just because they're
Yeah, so
slower.
just take the position, take
Well,
the apex, and let them hit their brakes.
well, not even that.
Make
Exactly.
Not even that. Like as the leader, your level of driving standard should not drop because you're going up against a slower car. It should be easier for you to figure out a safe place to pass because you've driven
Mhm.
all the way around the racetrack to get to this car.
Right,
So to be like, "Oh, I hit a
right.
slow car, you should get out of my way," is dumb. Right?
Oh, I like that.
It's just
Yeah, I like
dumb,
that attitude.
right?
Yeah,
So they
Can
can
I
find a safe place to do it.
yeah.
can
Oh,
I
good.
chip
Well,
in for a quick second?
What's up?
Yeah, just as far as like back markers and stuff, and like holding your line does not mean you actively race them.
Right.
Like you don't need to defend against the leaders as you're holding your line. It just means, like Davin said, be predictable.
Yep.
Because if you're like, oh, I'm holding my line, but you're like diving it into the corner on the outside of the leader, that's a little different. If
That happened to me
you're not
too.
battling for position.
That happened to me too. I had a car that was sitting on the outside, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna hold our line, and we're gonna take an outside line. That'll be nice and safe for me to go by because I'm up on the lead lap." And as we got to the apex, they just dove for the apex, and I'm like, "Why? Why are you cutting me off? Right? That's
Yeah,
not holding your line. That's just cutting off a car."
yeah, I
Yeah, you should
saw
have
at
enough
least.
situational awareness to know that there's another car around you because you should have the radar turned on. You should be able to know that you've been followed for a while because you should have at least looked in your mirrors to see what's going on. And even if somebody has gotten close to you, you should be able to hear the other car also.
Right. That's why
There's
the
plenty of cues to let you know that there's somebody around.
That's why the MFD relative is so helpful, right? Because I don't know
Right.
which car this is in front of me, but I swear he has whatever his position is, 30, and then 2. Like, hmm? And that's really, really helpful for him to know, like, oh, this guy's a leader. I shouldn't really be fighting with him, right? Or I'm more likely to get moved out of the way if I'm irritable, right? I try to be nice to back markers, but it doesn't always happen. So,
All right, let's see. Mr. House. Car 59, 22 minutes and 15 seconds. He's pretty
okay,
specific about this one.
right? Car 59. Where is car 59?
I've had practice, Larry. Remember
Oh
last
no!
week and the week before?
There you go. 22 minutes and 15 seconds. Man, we are like spot on. Something happened to you.
Right there is fine.
Okay. All right. I remember
Wow, a
this
little
car.
wide into turn one, huh?
I remember this car.
Yeah, but you know the times depends on when you click drive, I think. right?
No,
But not
Ooh.
the same.
no, we've done this
Ooh.
before. We got it.
Ooh.
Just
All right.
copy and paste from last week's
Oh
race.
God! All right, let me. What the?
Hello.
Why? Thanks.
Hey, you're trying to do what I do.
Yeah, I know, right? I set the free cam high because I got sent out into the shadow room last time when I was trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Who is this? This is number 27. Okay, Mr. Keers. All right. So why did we do what we did?
Mr. Kears has apologized, by the way, so it's just for technical interest
Well,
we're
then
looking at this.
He does not need to go to the hospital.
He pleads guilty.
Right.
Brake
Okay.
lights.
So one thing.
Missed his brake point altogether.
I know for damn sure that in the actual race that brake marker was gone. Right? Someone had run it over a while ago because I was braking under the bridge halfway through
There's
the
a
race.
fucking
Yeah.
bridge there,
Yeah.
Devin. You can't say it's gone.
No, well I know. That's what I'm saying. Like most people try to brake for this little piece of paper that's here on the ground. It's like a little napkin-y thing that says stop. And I'm like, there's a marshal's post over here. There's a big giant sign that says Brands Hatch all in front of you. Right?
Break
So
before the bridge.
break before the bridge, right? But if this little piece of paper goes away, no one really cares, right? Because it's just a reference point on the ground. So a lot of folks will miss that and then go sailing into the car in front of them. And then here we
Can
are.
we see when he gets on the brakes?
Oh yeah. All right,
That
let's
was that was very fast.
slow this down. So a little
way
late.
late.
A little late. A little late. So the reason why it's so
What's his
late.
ABS setting?
The reason why it's so late, guys,
Ooh,
is
3 out of 10.
is because there is a car in front of him. So he can't
Mhm.
slow down anymore because there is a car in front of him. So whenever you have a car in front of you, you have to back up at least one count, right? Because you need to let the car in front of you be able to slow down. Because what that braking was like, that and then we see this happen all the time. This is braking as if you're on a hot lap alone, right? The braking point under the bridge is the latest place that you can brake where the car will actually make the corner. So when you're chasing other cars, you have to adapt, like a little bit of light brake coming into the corner a little early and then roll up to the corner, or hard brake really early and then get off the brakes early so that you can roll into the corner. But you can't just full send into the corner because there's an object in front of you. You're going to hit it. So, doesn't matter what position we're racing for. I do this in House of Practice all the time. I will follow people for hours and hours and hours, just finding alternative breakpoints so that when I'm chasing someone in a battle, I don't have this problem. And like even in practice, you probably saw me chasing you guys a lot in practice and just being kind of aggressive. Like I'm doing that on purpose because I need to know like where am I going to try to break, right? And then back it up a count. So I would outbreak myself 3 or 4 times and then go shit. Okay, that's too late. Back up one, and by like one I mean like 15 feet. Right.
This is all about the anticipation that I talked about earlier. Lift the throttle, wait a couple like a half second, coast for just a tiny bit, brake hard and hold the brakes down. Because he literally brakes
right here.
Yeah, if not right there,
Oh,
that's a bit late with somebody in front of you because you will be holding the brakes, trail braking all the way to the edge of the curb on the top of the hill.
Well, and this is a great example,
And unfortunately, the car's there before you get to the curb.
Right. And there's a perfect example of this, right? So this car is doing 182 kilometers an hour. At the very same point in time, the car in front of you is doing 150 kilometers an hour. So they are moving 30 kilometers slower than you right now.
Because
Like,
he's already
because
braking.
he's already braking. So meanwhile, as he's wondering if he's going to make the corner, this car is coming in at 30 kilometers an hour faster because it's not paying attention to this car. So math says I'm gonna hit it. So you
Oops.
have to give yourself that adjustment space. You have to. And
How fast was he going when he hit me?
oh, I don't know. It's too fast. Fast
A
enough.
lot slower once they hit you.
Yeah, right. About 60 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, most of the damage was done for me when I was spun in the middle of the track and I couldn't go forwards. I couldn't go back because people were flying all over the place. I'm going to have a look at that as well. I just had to sit there and have a cup of coffee and wait.
Well, see, technically, that's the best thing to do because you're then predictable.
Yep.
You're locked into that place. Anybody that's coming up in that area, there should already be somebody in your headset or on your speakers telling you there's a yellow in section 1, and in turn you look to the map and see that it's in turn 2. If you know that you're coming up on turn 2, you better start fucking paying attention at that point. And actually, it's almost too late.
Yeah, I was right on the apex when when I finished up, pointing in the wrong direction, pretty much.
Sorry, you said it shows in the map who the where the issue is with the yellow. What does it look like on the map? I didn't notice that.
There's
It's
a
a
yellow
yellow
dot
circle.
with a particular car, and you should hear your in-game engineer say that there's a yellow in sector 2 or sector 1.
Yeah, I always hear it, but I never know exactly where it is. So
Are you running?
I'd look at the map.
Do you have the map?
Do you have the full map open or just the sector map open?
No, I find the full map. I don't have enough detail about what's around me to know if I'm cutting someone else off or not.
No, you shouldn't be driving by the map. You should be looking to it when you only have emergencies.
Yeah. That's why I'm looking. That's why I'm asking where I can look for the yellow guy. Okay, thanks.
Because if you're on the sector map only, you might miss where it is because it doesn't show enough of the track, like, not right where you are at the time. So that might be it, where it's a little bit further ahead, so you don't see it immediately. Might be that.
Everything's always ahead for me. Okay, thanks.
All right, let's see. Fagan has one, and he writes 3204 for time, car 404. I don't know what to say, and he says the view should be rear view.
Oh dear.
So this is going to be good.
Oh dear. Fagan
Everybody
always,
go full screen.
Fagan always entertains. All right, let me speed this up to full speed again. Get rid of this too. Fagan, did you change the color of your car?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit brown right now.
Brown, yeah.
Oh, look at that. Way too far
Oh
inside.
no, again. Okay, all right. So I think I know which car this is too. Let's see.
Oh,
Yep.
It's Sanchez.
All right, so let's go back to your point of view.
I was right behind him.
Yep. So
Sanchez, you've been naughty today.
okay, so let's.
He did very well in practice to work on it, though.
He did, yeah. He was quick. It was funny because I was counting off the laps as I was working my way through because I had this strategy that I was trying to work to, that I was trying to close the relative gap to Nielsen and hope that he'd get caught up in traffic. So I was a little mad with myself that I let you catch me because I was like, if we start fighting, we're gonna shed more time and he's gonna get away, and I want to win the race. But it is what it is, right? But let's see how we got here. All right, so we are. Oh, hi, kitty cat. Could you move? Excuse me, cat. We're trying to do things. Thank you. All right. So TLDR, basically what we're doing is we're following too closely to back marker traffic, and anytime you've driven all the way around the racetrack to catch up to cars behind you, the cars you catch, you need to give more space because they are going to do something inconsistent. Like Fagan right now, where he's braking, no offense, Fagan, is like nowhere near a racing line that's going to make this corner fast. He's in the middle.
Nowhere near wide enough either.
No, nowhere near wide enough, right? He is narrow to the track. He is gonna early apex of anything.
Yeah, I lost a lot of speed when I was on that side. So
yeah, I'm sure you did. Yeah, I'm sure you did because we're like all on the dirty side of the track, like nowhere near the racing line. So if you're the 75, a lift here to let him just kind of do that would have saved you a ton of pain because it makes no sense to turn in here because he's not moving. He's slow. So worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to accelerate back into the back of him, right? In the best case scenario, you're stuck here now because you've just parked yourself behind a slow car. In the worst case scenario, you run into the back of him because all your extra speed is going to just take you into the Mercedes.
Yeah, your momentum is going to catch him no matter what. You could have coasted and still caught him.
Yeah, exactly. A lift and a coast would have saved you so much because he could have gotten to the exit of the corner to a place where he was in a safe space, and you could have rolled right by, and then it would have been a non-issue. So
yeah, I wanted to look into this again because I knew I was in the fault. Like I was not trying to blame it on him at all.
No.
If you were inside the car, I tried to open up more when I saw him brake, but then I turned like right here. I'm trying to open up to the right, but
yeah,
I didn't open up enough.
Yeah.
And then I turned in way too much, and that was my mistake. I tried to like open up to the right so I would have like an out in.
Yeah.
But I miscalculated when to turn left.
So there were a couple
because I was following way too close.
No, exactly. Yeah, following way too close was kind of your first doomed state, right? But the other thing that kind of dooms you, and you kind of know it's going to be bad, is when we go this way. Because we're already
when you moved left.
Yeah, when you moved left, because you already got off the racing line because we got impatient, right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, not to be judgmental, but like, where are we gonna go? What is the point of taking away my race line, right? And then we get back on the line, but we're already kind of compromised because we have to slow down for Fagan. And then we decide to turn in behind Fagan, which is really early.
I mean, at this point, I've waited. If you see my throttle, I wait for a little bit and then I throttle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I expected him to like right here. I expected him to like already be throttling.
Yeah.
Just because I'm used to that racing line and
Wait,
where I throttle in that turn, and then he wasn't.
Can we see where my throttle was around
I
that
was
time?
way too soon.
Sure.
Well, think of it this way: you're driving behind somebody. You have to follow at their pace.
Yeah, you have to wait for him to drive his car.
You can't run your hot lap with a car in front of you. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, and
he's coasting all the way through the corner.
Well, yeah, because we've pulled as many gears as possible to make sure we don't die, and then we got off the throttle because we don't know what's happening, and so we're gonna just wait to coast through. And then before we even get a chance to get the throttle, we get hit.
Just barely started picking it up, and the collision started.
Yeah, if that, right? So this is at half speed, right? We're coasting, and now we're hit, and we're like, oh shit! And we're trying to use the throttle to balance the car to save it, to do something, but we can't. And now we're here.
Remember, Sergio, what you could do here is you could have stayed back about another full car length and get a run on him after he gets out of the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that whole
and
lane
again,
was
I'm sorry
yours
for the
pass.
touch.
No, it's fine. Yeah, but that whole lane was yours afterwards. I was like, he is going to murder me. Let me get to the left.
So I don't want to pick on you, Sergio, but I just want to take a look at ours too, because I don't know what happened here.
It's just me being too close to you. Same issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when you're coming up on another car, because you're further behind, you can brake earlier, you can slow down better, and then once you get to the point of acceleration, you need to be able to have room to make the run.
Yeah. I'm
murder.
I was gonna just say, like, do not take this the wrong way.
It was completely on me.
Yeah, but you murdered me.
It was all me. It was all me.
Right. So what I had planned to do was get on the brakes and slow down early to the apex, which is my right to do. Right. All I want to do is get my car slowed down so that I can be in front of you, because I want to close the lane. I'm not going to try to go fast, and I know we're going to end out together. Right. So I can do that. Right. I can do that. And before I get to the apex, I get picked up, and I'm like, oh no!
I tried to turn left to avoid you because I saw what was coming, and it was too late.
I tried to throw in a bunch of locks.
Let me ask you a question. What were you trying to do on the inside too, Sergio?
Well, I wasn't expecting for him to keep on being right, and if you see that, I actually pushed my brakes a lot earlier than I do in that turn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because you have a car in front of you, that's natural. But my question is, you are 3 car lengths too far to the right. Why?
I mean, it's where the whole situation took me. I came out of the turn a little better than him before, and I wasn't sure that he was gonna get to the right at that point.
So one thing I might recommend. So I knew I was slow coming out of here, and the whole time I'm like, if this guy stays left, I am dead. Because if you had stayed left, you would have had all that exit speed coming out of turn 2. Entrances don't matter, dude. I can manage you on the entry, but exits is just horsepower. So if you had been a little more patient, I can only make one move. So if I start to make the commitment to go right, I have to stay there. I can't weave back and stop you. So the moment I start going this way, I've sealed my fate. I'm taking the gamble that you were going to come with me. You can go wherever you want. So if you had gone left and stayed on the racing line, I would have been so dead. You see how early I am to the apex there? I would have never been moving. And then you would have just been able to run up the back of me and move me around. So
yeah, you would have made the pass on the outside.
Oh
here.
my God, you would have put so much pressure on me because you would have been so close coming out of turn 2. The only thing I could do is go inside until we got to turn 4. That's the only thing I could do, right? So trying to outbrake me down into turn 2 doesn't make a lot of sense, because all I'm going to do is manage you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially as the lead car, I'm going to manage and squeeze the living crap out of you, because until you get up alongside my door, you have no right to be there, right? Or if you stayed on the racing line and just let me drive down to the inside, you could just look at me and be like, well, that guy's dumb, and just drive right by, right? Exits. Exits are so important. And everyone focuses on entrances because they want to get there before we turn. Before we turn doesn't. I don't care about before we turn. I care about when we get on the gas. Right? Getting on the gas is what matters. So in the future, setting up to just take a fast racing line, speed is your best friend. It's your best friend in the whole
A
world.
related question.
Yeah, what's up?
Sure.
So this is Adam Nielsen. Struggling a lot with that too myself because of the pressure from behind. Like, I don't know how to not stay so close because if I fall back a little bit, then I just start battling with the person behind me, and then
Oh, wait a minute.
that's the
Before you go too far with this, you're ahead of the guy, right? You're worried about the
I think
person
he's
behind
talking about
you.
being like
No,
he's
wait. What I'm saying is, if you're in first place and there is a person behind you in second, right on your behind, and you come up behind somebody and you're very tight to them, why are you worried about the person behind you?
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Even if you're in second and you're going for the lead of the race, who the hell cares about what's happened to the guy in third? That guy's behind me. I want
That's
first.
his problem.
That's
not
his
yours.
problem to
Well,
deal
I
with.
mean, it's my problem if he punts me, which
Well,
I
that's
feel
a
happens
different
a lot,
story.
but
But let's go at it this way. How about when you bump me from behind in turn 2 in this same exact area where you turned in and went way inside, where you're going to have to be extremely slow into that corner.
Yep. Yep.
And in
So-
turn, I wouldn't say I tried to pinch you, but I tried to go for the apex, and you bumped me from behind and spun me out in turn 2. Okay. It's the same kind of thing. I'm not worried about you from behind. I'm trying to battle the guy that's ahead of me.
Right.
But in turn, I look at my rearview mirror and you come up like a bullet on the inside where there's no room to go. Plus, you have to be that much slower to try and make the corner, first of all. And the corner is that much tighter because you're right up against the curb on the right side.
Right.
I came from the far left-hand side and tried to cut across the track to apex like everybody normally does on the racing line. And I would say you were almost in too big of a hurry, worried about the person behind you, trying to get away from him. And unfortunately, you punted me off the track. I'm not complaining about it, but that's the whole scenario.
Well,
it's
no,
the
I
same
think
thing
that's
right
definitely
here.
fair, right? That's what I'm trying to talk myself into, like figuring out how to manage the anxiety and the strategy to not let that happen. I don't know if you want to. If you want to go to it, I don't want to.
Let me ask you one question.
Hold on, Ibu. Hold on. Before we move on, don't worry about trying to get away. Right? Trying to get away is what creates the anxiety that you can't manage because you can't really manage whether you can get away. All you can manage is how quickly you can drive your car. And then what happens around your car is just the result of what's happening in the world around you. So trying to get away is what causes that problem because you're trying to build a gap or opening a gap that you don't have a lot of control over. So in the situation you described where you're in the second place car and you're worried about the guy behind you, you're partly worried about the skill level of the guy behind you and if he's going to hit you. You can't do anything about that. All you can do is drive your car. So you kind of have to tune him out. Like you have to be aware of him, but you kind of have to tune him out and put yourself in the most advantageous position. And then everything else just kind of plays out. It's like playing hands of poker, right? I can have the best hand possible, but I might not have the best hand. I just got to play the hand.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
dealt.
fair. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, one life lesson that's useful is just focus on the things you can control, right? And ignore everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Can we continue this incident? Because Devin, that was sorry, but I have to call out your rejoin.
Oh no, I was going to say that too. My rejoin sucked. Oh
Sorry,
no,
sorry for that.
I was going to pull that out, man. Like I was going to say, I literally.
I thought, God damn it, that was my podium. But it's fine.
I totally hear you, dude. I totally hear you because I got hit and then I tried to turn the car around and I'm like, where am I? And I literally just smashed right in the back of you. I totally did. I totally did. But you know what? As many times as I've been hit helping y'all, sometimes someone else gets hit. So that happens.
It's karma.
Yeah.
Total
yeah.
karma
Dude, how many fucking times have I been leading races and people run in the back of me and they're like, oh my god, I didn't mean to. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
I've never hit you. Why did you do this to me?
I don't know. That's what I ask when people hit me. I've never hit this person. This person hit me. I don't know.
Oh my god! So,
but you're right. You're totally right. You're totally right. You're totally right. Right. I got hit in a really inopportune space. Right. And I didn't want to sit there and park it because I was trying to finish the damn race. I was 2 laps to go.
Yeah.
Right? So I was impatient. I totally was. Right. Like the last 3 races I've had, I've tried to finish the fucking thing and I get run into. So I'm just like, okay, can I just get to the end? So I apologize for that.
Yeah,
But,
it's fine. It's
you're
fine.
right.
It's fine. I
You're
just
right.
like I saw your car, and then I was like, I took a wider turn, because I saw where your car was, and then
yeah, no, and
at the middle, then
and let's play it through because you're totally right. Like I smashed the shit out of you, and I saw your bright green car, and I was like, is that what it's like? Is that what it's like when you have when you have a pink car and you get hit? Like, damn. I was like, okay, and so I'm trying to come out, and I'm trying to come out, and then that's where I got ready. Yeah, right. And I couldn't see, and I couldn't even see you. Yeah, and I couldn't see you from where I was, right? So I'm sitting here going, I think we're fine. I think we're fine. No, we're not fine. I can't see anybody, right? So what I probably should have done is I probably should have crept down the grass and then rejoined coming straight rather than just coming right back on the road. Because you're right. Like I have no idea that there's a car back here, like at all, right?
yeah, of course, because I was like
no,
4 seconds behind you guys.
Right. No, you're totally right. There's the life lesson, right? You are right here on the right, right? And so you're doing what you should be doing. And I'm like, oh well, I'll come back on. I'll come back on. I want to avoid the barrier. I'm trying
And
to
if anything, he
Did
was
you
a
check the
tiny little
MFD?
blip in that rear view mirror.
Yeah. No,
that
no.
camera. It was
Relatives.
just a green flash.
I tried to
That's
turn
why I have the track map up.
and I
Check
tried.
the relative. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I should have really checked the relative, right? Like I tried to turn the wheel as much as I could, but I didn't check the relative when I did it. I just turned the wheel, and so then I'm like, I don't really check to see.
Isn't there a very, very, very basic rule that says never enter the track at a right angle?
I don't know, but probably.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, probably. You know, but like trying to find a place also with like the steering lock on these cars where I can kind of get it stopped and turn where I'm not sitting for like a year was kind of frustrating. So I was like, well, shit.
That's true.
Because I'm up against the barrier. Like I'm kind of over. Let's go to free cam.
Nosed in.
Yeah, I'm kind of nosed in trying to turn around, right? So it's kind of hard to find a place trying to get back off.
Yeah,
but I totally do just destroy his life. Right.
That's how like I left that like some space because I knew you were somewhere there, but once I got closer because you moved in, I couldn't see you anymore.
No, man, you're right. I totally wrecked your life. I totally did. Like not even when I hit you, I was like, that sucks. And then just drove away.
I was in second, and I was like, I hope he can come back sort of soon because I want to give the position back. But I was very surprised by how fast he came back. I was like, holy shit, what did he do? Because I didn't see this, and now I understand.
Yeah, no, because I just jumped back on the track because I was mad, and I was just like, okay.
The nonchalant.
What happened?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Are we meant to ignore the red mist, Devin?
No. So the last week I turned my own car off, and this week I was like 3 minutes from the end of the race. So I was like, no, I'm coming back on. I'm playing my mulligan, and I'm coming back on.
Playing my mulligan.
Devin, before you move on,
to last on lap 3.
True.
Devin, before you move on, do you mind going to lap 23 first turn so that we just finish with my series of unfortunate events this race?
23.
And you can like go into my car.
Which number are you?
Oh, that's.
I am right ahead of you in second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean I don't know why it shows P2 because I'm not P2, but yeah, you can show it from behind. Actually, it will be better.
Okay.
Actually, this is lap 23.
Yeah.
I guess that is lap 24.
Go 24 actually.
I,
Go 24 then.
Okay.
Sorry.
I have a no, so it's going to be lap 25 because that was the incident with Ruskel.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question for the coaches too about that because last week I had a similar situation about that incident.
Okay.
And is how you know to leave the nog space for another car making a side by side. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think I do.
Because
I think I do. But let me try to play the incident so I can see it, and then.
no, it's Inter one. It's Inter one, but I think that is.
Turn one.
This is that was a side by side with Roskill, and they touch it in the first turn.
Okay.
But
There's no one here.
I
It must be
There's no one.
24. Yeah, there you go, lap
there is
24.
Yeah, this is why
there
our
is there is.
timestamps are amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was counting with probably the formation lap.
It's
That's
all
why I gave
good.
you one
It's
of
all
this.
good. Oh, by the way, ACC does a terrible job rendering wheels. Do you see this? It's like ghetto
Yeah, that's
style.
really bad.
That's really bad. Oh my god.
So I thought I was leaving enough space, but obviously I didn't.
This one's tough.
Well, that comes down to how much you pay attention. Like if you'll go into the car inside his car right now, Davin. Okay, where's the white line? And I talked to most of you guys about this. Where's the white line on the left side here, guys?
Right
where the
where,
fender and the hood come together. Okay,
a
that
little
little
bit more to
crease
the
on the
right.
left-hand side. Now, if you're on the right-hand side and you get close, it's going to be right around the base of this wire that runs up and down the windshield right here from this view. That's how small your track is, or slightly to the right. So that's a visualization of where the track edges are. It's not something you want to stare at, but it's something that you can see in the lower portion of your vision. But this is a very good representation because if you go out behind the car, his left side tires are damn near on the edge of the track.
Yep.
Yeah, he's what, 4 feet away, 3 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
But when you turn in and you're going down the hill in turn one, you have to leave at least the width of the car plus a little bit. And at this point, you've turned in here, and your angle is a whole lot different than his. There's no way you're going to leave that much room. Look at Davin's car from inside, or from his car inside to at Davin's car. You see how much room is there on the right hand side?
I was trying to open up the room for him so he wouldn't touch.
Right,
That's
right.
why I'm
But
wide.
my point though is in relationship to Davin's car, you're already going to be too tight because you're already turning too hard for this corner. You would have to literally be probably another 10 or 20 kilometers an hour slower to make the outside portion of this corner and allow him room to go through. Plus, you can't be aiming to the middle of Davin's car.
Right.
So how could I defend this position if someone just launches in the inside? Is my question.
Well,
or you just don't.
Well, you guys are side by side, so at this point it's almost his corner because he's slightly ahead of you.
It's his corner here, but
and then he
all
breaks
the way
early.
here, I am one full car ahead. So
Well,
I figured that he would tap the brakes a little
Yeah,
bit.
but he's still there though.
He's
You
still
can't just
there.
turn in.
Yeah, you can't just
Yeah.
turn in. Like if you're gonna try anything, you're gonna run to the sand trap, right? And try to run as wide as possible and let the car run wide really, really early. Because
Let's
that way.
look at the hands inside.
Oh sure. Oh no, I know where the hands are going. They're going right.
Yeah.
Right. So
well, yeah, but look how much angle he's got. It's almost 90 degrees.
yeah, no, exactly. So like if
You're full send to the apex at this point.
if we were gonna run side by side with the car, the only thing I would care about is how do I take the exit away from the car, the white car, right? I'm not trying to get to the apex because there's going to be a car there. That doesn't matter anymore. But what I do want to do is make sure that when he gets to the apex, he doesn't roll right by me, right? So if I am going to try this from the outside, which is sketchy because it's offline, it's gravelly, and the thing goes up and down, it's not an ideal place to be. But if we're going to do this, run to the sand, right? Because you want to
And
cut his exit off.
Yeah, or
could I ask how is? Oh man, wait.
this is a
Take your time. Take your time.
for
Take
an
your time.
over-under maneuver too.
Not here. It's too fast. It's too fast, and the track really undulates up and down.
Yeah.
So it doesn't give you enough room to do an undercut where you can accelerate and take advantage of that.
It depends on how wide the car that's going up the inside goes. I nearly pulled one off, but it ended up. I think we touched. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really looked at the replay yet. It's about a lap later after this, but yeah, he ran wide because he tried to go up the inside and go too fast through the corner.
Yeah, but you got to let him do that though, right? Like the only way that really safely works is if the car on the inside runs wide at the apex, so you have room to do the under. If they have any sort of traction where they can turn, you're just gonna under into them, and it's like, oh well, that sucks.
It exists a reference to leave enough space in the inside line because when you are in the outside line, you have more space in the turn, you know.
Yeah.
But when you are in the inside line, you are like close and you don't have like enough space to react or to drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And It exists any reference or anything to leave enough space in the inside line to try to avoid this kind of incident?
No, I understand. I mean, if I was the car we're sitting in now, I would lift for the 75. And the only reason I would lift for the 85 is that I'm not going to that there's a very low likelihood I'm going to be able to gain something successful by staying here. Right? Because he's already kind of in a place where I can see he's already going to try to kind of turn down. He might run wide and then I'm going to get the spot anyway. But if I try
Yeah.
to force my car in here, I have to rely on the fact that the 75 won't hit me. And I don't know if that's going to happen. So if I was the
Not
4,
to mention, he's already out in the marbles.
right?
His tires are picking up garbage. The left side has absolutely almost, I would say, 75% grip, if that.
Yep.
Plus, he's
Yeah.
trying to go over a hill too wide, and turning in early or late like this is going to make him apex inside.
Yep.
Because it's just the opposite. If you turn in too early, you apex and then you end up on the outside of the corner too far. If you apex super late like this, it's going to run you right down the right hand side of the track instead of going out to the left.
Yep.
So it's a dangerous move to begin with.
So
unless the guy on the outside lifts
So
to begin with,
most of the
that's the
time,
thing that you have to worry about.
right? And most of the time, I will say most of the time because we just saw an instance where I didn't do this. Most of the time, I'm really big on risk management of my car. Right? I want to make sure that with all the objects around me moving, I put my car in the safest position for me to continue driving. And so even like when I'm in a battle and the guy gets a bit of a run on the outside and I could argue that I'm on the inside, it doesn't matter who wins the argument if my car is damaged. So there are some times where for a brief moment it makes sense to concede because I've got a whole other piece of the racetrack to go deal with, right? He's still got to
Yeah.
brake for druids. He's still got so many other turns to do, right? That it doesn't make sense to try to get a spot here because I'm not like so far ahead of him that, if I was a half a car length up on the 75, oh, I would hella go for it. Hella go for this, right?
Not
But
to mention you've got another car in front of you.
right, exactly.
That's another point.
So
You're having to wait on Davin because if Davin hasn't got his shit together,
yeah,
or hasn't
yeah,
gotten out of the way,
yeah.
it's like, where are you going to go? You've already made the pass. You're trying to force somebody to the outside, and Davin's there. So
Right,
at that
right.
point, you're driving behind a brick wall.
You're waiting, right? Like there are often times in battles where I literally tell myself the fastest I can go is the car that's furthest in front of me. Right? In the very opening stint when we were all in that big train, I literally didn't chase anybody. I just sat there and waited for people to crash. Because I was like, you know what? I can only go as fast as the cars in front of me. So it doesn't make sense to force my car into risky places because I'm just going to have another car in front of me. So I'm just going to wait and see what they do. And 3 of them crashed. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Right? But it's the same thing here. Like if I'm in 4th place and I'm battling for 2nd, there's a part of me that goes, I'm going to lift a little bit to see if this guy either rolls into the second and rolls into me into the pink car, or at the very least, I'm the best positioned for my next attack. Right? Or here, I'm just compromised. Right? I'm compromised totally because the 75 is squeezing me. I'm not going to gain any more traction. Right? And I'm just off position. So I'm just going to watch the pink car probably drive away. Right? I think I get murdered right after that. But this doesn't help you because now you're sideways and everyone's gone.
Let's go to the next one. I think this has to do with me.
Oh.
Thank you for reviewing that. I appreciate all the
Yeah,
feedback.
no problem.
Hey, thank you, Sergio. That gave me 3rd place. That gave me my first podium. So I appreciate that move.
Awesome.
Okay. Frank Barnes has car number 43, turn 9, near the end of the open pit time. And I think this is where I came up behind him and I turned in on the inside to possibly get past him because I thought he was going to go wide.
I have no idea what the end of the open pit time
But
is.
so just so we know what's going on, I had to pit that lap. So I'm ready for the pitting. If I had a right turn signal, I'd have it on.
Okay.
So I thought I was being conservative.
Oh, so we're probably
by
right
hanging.
Well, you have to find just before he pits, and I guess it's lap 12 or 13. Because look behind him right now.
Oh, there we are.
Should be lap 13 right there.
There we go.
I was right behind him when we came out of these last couple corners.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're up here and you're here. But you're going.
So it must be the next lap.
Yep, must be the next lap because Larry was right on. There were 2 or 3 cars right on my tail.
Okay.
I was trying to be
let's take a look at it.
Careful about it.
No, it's all good.
That's coming out of the pit. So back up.
Okay. All right, we go into the pit. There we go.
Unfortunately,
Found it.
I
Found
ran into
it.
him here on the inside.
There we go.
There it is.
Oops.
Okay.
Hello.
I didn't know that he was pitting, and he normally takes an outside line, and I had gotten a decent run on him. And if I had realized that he was going to pit, I would have backed off at this whole thing. See, he starts to go wide, and I didn't realize he was turning. I thought he was just sliding at that point.
Yeah, I got wider than I thought. I thought I was hugging the right line. I intended to hug the right line, so I misled you there a little bit, didn't I? Okay.
Well, kind of, but not
I mean,
really.
that is the
It was
most
my fault for
challenging
hitting
thing
you.
that I've come across. It's learning how to best anticipate the person in front of you, and I just suck at it.
Well,
Hey,
it takes
Frank.
practice.
Well, we all do.
It just takes practice, right? Like,
Well, every other lap of that race, he'd have been right on because I would have been floating out there a little wider, and he could have come inside me. That particular one, I was geared to go into the pit, so I had to come across.
Yeah, you didn't really do anything wrong.
Hey, Frank.
Yes.
What I did there, because I had practiced it. So normally that's a third gear corner, but if you leave it in third gear, you might drift a little bit. So I would get there and go to second to make sure that I could stay inside and just and you
as
got a lot
tight
of
to the curb as
tours.
possible.
Yeah. That's what I do.
And you just hug it as tight as
That's
you
what I do,
can so that the guy doesn't think that
To
you're
add to
going
what
out
Bob
and
is
he's going to go
saying,
inside.
to add to what Bob is saying, and usually Larry always remind us, like last 10 minutes of training, I the only thing that I did is just like going into the into the pit and going and stopping and then exiting again, just to get used to it. Go as safely and as fast as possible. That's again practice for even for the pit entry and exit. How to
Did
go
you have fun,
into
Frank?
the pit and
Well,
exit.
I should have, looking back at this, I should have protected that inside line by actually going slower, not faster, going slower.
Yeah,
Right.
that would have been great.
That's what's
Did
hard,
you have fun,
hard to
Frank?
do.
This is your first race.
No, it's not my first. It's my first race after we're working with you, and I had a bad night. So I got stuff to work on that you gave me that I didn't have a good
Every
night.
night with these guys is a good night.
driven over by his own rookie buddy.
Well, gentlemen, I'm off.
All right, Felton. Have a
Thank
good
you
one.
for everything today, guys. I actually had the best race of my career so far today. So,
oh my God, go Felton.
Good deal, Mark. And there was much rejoicing.
Congrats.
Yeah, I woke up early this morning and helped him out at about 8 o'clock this morning.
I saw that shit. I saw that show in Discord, and I was like, "Oh my God, what dedication! Amazing." Also, Larry, get a life. Oh God, so
yeah,
I'm on fucking
I
vacation. I have more fun with this than I do real people, so fuck you.
Yeah, we're not real people. Remember that. We're degenerate sim racers.
All right. Yeah, we're not real.
Spirit animal.
Well, Frank, real quick.
We're all just robots.
I shouldn't have. I should have not assumed that you were going to go wide.
But Frank, real quick though, I think you're on the right track.
Yes.
So I don't map turn signals because I'm not that nice. So typically, what I end up doing, I don't want to give away that I'm going into the pits, okay? Because if I let you know that I'm going into the pits, other people are going to follow me into the pits, and that defeats the purpose of pitting, right? So typically, what I will do is I'll pull 2 gears and stay really close to the inside and be slow, because it doesn't matter if they pass me for like the 10 feet going into the pit stop,
Gotcha.
right?
Gotcha,
Just whatever, drive around the outside. I'm wounded. Oh God, right?
Or slightly turn in a little earlier, maybe to hug the curb.
Yeah,
that would have been a little bit different too.
Yeah.
Well, going in earlier and slower, that's hard. I hear what you're saying. It's hard to do when you got Larry on your tail. I don't want to be. I don't want to be in his way.
Trying to manage the distance too. Really.
Yeah, you got to practice.
No,
it.
you were a long ways back.
You got to practice it, and you also got to not care about Larry, right? Because you got to seriously, you got to get your car into the pits. It's his damn fault if he runs into you. So it's like you just gotta put your car there and just drive.
Any other series, he hits you while you're going to the pits, he's getting the penalty.
Yep.
So.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And I do believe me, when I hit that car, I was like,
fuck.
Yeah, this is where the announcer says, and Foster has just murdered Frank Barnes. Like, that's exactly what happened. That's all that's happening, right? So, yeah. But,
okay. So next one, we're gonna have lap 8 at 17:30 for car 212.
Okay.
Hey guys, I got to jump off here real quick too. Had a great time again as usual.
Yeah, always good to see you.
Thanks
All right,
for hanging
Vincent,
out,
good
sir.
to talk to you, buddy.
Cheers, Vincent.
Yeah, definitely.
This isn't my finest moment.
I sent you a message, by the way, Vincent.
Yeah, we've already hashed this out, so we're good.
Oh, all right. Well, then good. I can just laugh with impunity. Good. Excellent. Enjoy my sandwich while I watch this.
He was in my way.
No.
You're a little bit further back than what I gave you, right?
I don't know.
As far as time.
I don't know. What timestamp was it?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. I think it's right here.
Yeah, it's right here.
I just listened to the numbers you tell me, so.
Oh, I must have goofed it up.
Everyone's so impatient. We're not even at the right turn. You get killed in.
Another turn 2 inside go.
Well,
it's the story of the night here.
That's funny.
All right. Did the white blue car? Did you pull off to the side of the track after that, or did you just sit there?
Yeah, no, I sat there.
You might want to,
No.
if nobody's right behind you, go over to the edge of the track.
Oh, no, I did.
Oh,
okay.
And then I
It's all
sat
right,
there
he's
and
just
watched
trying
the
to help
entire
me.
race go by me.
Oh,
He's just trying to
okay,
help
yeah,
me initiate my drift so I could deliver some tofu.
Right, exactly.
You did the right thing, man. When that car came around the outside of you, you did the right thing by just staying put.
Yeah, exactly. Hold the line.
No, that's
Oh
so
my God.
painful. That's so painful because just so many spots. You're like, oh my god. But you did do the right thing. You did do the right thing.
It wasn't my finest moment.
That's all right. I smacked the hell out of Henry and just kind of kept going. So,
Dude, I went from second to last on the second to last turn tonight on lap 3. You talk about a long wait.
You did. I felt so bad for you. I watched that and I was like, oh, look, I'm
man.
chasing Bobby. Bobby, no! Devin, yes. Whee!
And I'm like, there goes a friend, there goes a friend, there goes a friend, there goes a friend, there goes a friend.
It's like, I know that.
Jeez, when is it going to stop?
I know that guy.
Karma got me back. I got nailed on a rejoin later on in the race, so.
Yeah, sometimes you get caught out with one of those.
Yep.
All
All
right,
right, Larry.
All right. Let's see. Tom S says corner 1, start car 51. So I'd say lap 1 probably.
Hopefully. All right, corner 1. What? 51, I think, right? 51.
Yep.
All right, let's see how the start went for these guys. Nope, that's the beginning of the race, I think.
Corner 1, 51.
Okay. Just trying to figure out where we're starting here.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is the warm-up lap. There's the start.
I don't see anything. This is corner 2.
Yeah.
Are we losing people?
I don't know. Corner
I
3.
keep hearing the tone.
Nothing happened. Oh, corner 3, he got hit.
There we go, 3.
Corner 3, he got hit. That sucked.
And easy on the throttle, because remember, you get in the grass and the ass end of the car has these giant slick tires on it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to not
Who is in that car?
spin out with those big slick tires.
Sorry. Oh, 333. Okay, it's Mr. Reese. All right. So how did we hit this happen? Oh, okay. We tried to pass in Graham Hill, and I don't know why. Okay.
No.
Late on the brakes, tried to go inside, turned down on him.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the tire. He flipped a bitch pretty
Yeah,
good.
that was good though. Yeah. Donut, 10 points for donuts. That was good.
Flick turn activated.
Got the place anyway, I guess. Oh man. Yeah, Graham Hill honestly is not a good place to try to pass most of the time. Like if you're gonna get the pass done, you want it done back here. Right? Where you're easily leading and you can get the car slowed down. But because of how sharp it is and that it dips in the middle there and then gets really tight right here.
And it's tight. Yeah, he's even tighter because he's not on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't opened up the corner to be really wide on entry.
Mm-mm. So it's going to carry you out to the outside, and then you're just going to,
Exactly.
oh no. And then
unless you get really, really stupid slow at this point, you could have been, down below 40 some kilometers an hour, and maybe he would have cut across in front of you and you'd have missed him.
Right. But we've put ourselves in a series of unfortunate places.
Yeah, exactly.
And also,
All right, let's see.
so early on in the race. I mean, I think one thing I do want to say about this is like, so early on in the race when you're especially back here, just let everybody go kill themselves. Like, to be frank, like you've got so much time, and cars are gonna start falling off the road, and they're gonna start battling each other. Like, making losses back here just makes the day kind of shitty. But if you're patient for a lap, you'll find yourself taking up a bunch of spots because you have 30 other cars that have the possibility of killing themselves, and you can just make safe passes until you get about 2 or 3 laps in, and then you can start dicing with folks because these guys aren't going to get away. They ain't going nowhere, right? So that's kind of what I think about when I start near the back. I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna get a rhythm in, and hopefully everybody else kills themselves, and typically they do. And then I find free spots, and then I'll race people like a lap in. You know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think front true. I had no pace on the first 3 guys, but they crashed, and then I got first.
I mean, I did the same thing, right? I just sat there in fifth and waited, right? But you know, I didn't say because you did it in the back doesn't mean the front leader shouldn't do it too, right?
Thanks for the race, guys. Got to go. Thank you.
All right, Greg. Have a good one, man.
All right, Jeff. See you, buddy.
I mean, I did the same thing for leaders, right? Like, honestly, super aggressive moves in turn one at the beginning of the race are just asking for insurance claims, right? Unless you're sure it's gonna like stick, right? Like, what are we doing, right? Everyone's the most aware, they're the most adrenaline pumped, and they're most anxious for something to happen because everyone's close. So it doesn't make like to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to make half-hearted moves that won't stick. You're more likely gonna have someone drive off the road through sheer anxiety and kill themselves, and then get the spot anyway. So I just hang out. If I'm in, you know, I said when I started the race, my wife came in and looked, and I was like, "Oh, I'm starting fifth, and I'm not going to make a single pass for the first 3 laps. I'm sure I'll be in the top 3 by the time we get around to lap 4." And lo and behold, cars started crashing, and I was like, "Wee! All right, wee!" Right? So it doesn't hurt to wait until you have a for sure thing, right? It's not like going to the casino, right? A pass shouldn't be a gamble. You want to try to take a pass when it's a sure thing. Right? And sometimes that means waiting a little bit till the opportunity presents itself. But you know, it can be a little frustrating sometimes. But sometimes the best thing to do is to do absolutely nothing and let the cars around you do all the things. So.
All right, next one up is car 446. Excuse me, at 4249.
4249. Oh, that seems sketch. What did you
This
do?
is where he runs up behind me.
I was really hoping something like this would slow you down. I was praying for that the whole race.
I tried to keep him behind me as long as possible.
Well, I didn't bribe you hard enough.
So totally admit, right?
The
like
first time we went through there on the lap before, I cut him off on purpose to keep him behind me.
Well, do more of that.
I dove in at the same spot, and he passed me the second time around,
So you're leading
or another
now, right?
lap before.
So I will say this to you, just as a maybe a life lesson for racing. You're in that position that we call first, and so there's nothing to gain anymore for the rest of the race, right? The only thing you can do from here is go backwards. So it doesn't make sense to take risks with back markers like this because this could have been a race-ending accident. I was praying for that the whole time because I got caught up in traffic and was fighting back markers, and the whole time I'm like, please God, have some back marker. Please ruin the 446's day. Please, 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 please. Because all he can do is fall back, right? He can't. There's no super first. There's no super +1, right? You're in the one spot that everybody wants to be in. So you have to be.
Adam, let me ask you a question. Did you also know that there were 2 other cars ahead of me?
So, I don't know. Maybe it's situational context. Like, we had been doing this for 2 laps, where like we had been blue flags all over the place, and lots and lots of slowdown, and Davin's breathing down my neck, and like decreasing the gap. And it's like,
That's
all right, there's
not
enough
breathing
time for
down
me
your
to
neck.
go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
So it may not be. I'm just saying, like, the pressure on me, right? Like, as a novice and new guy, the pressure was there, and then I saw 334 if you back up like 10 seconds or whatnot. And it was stupid of me. It's totally my error. But if you go ahead and play, and then I see 334 off now in the dirt. Like, he's not going to have, ability to brake or whatnot. So I go in, and Foster, Larry, you slow down, and then 3 through 4 takes to turn, and like he had rights to do it, but I was like, oh well, he's not gonna want to or be able to, and I made the mistake. Totally, it's on me. But that's what my thinking was. You know?
So risky.
Let me do it this way. You care too much about what all the other cars are doing. The only car you should care about is this bright yellow one, right? Because who gives a shit what the guy up in the way miles away from you is really doing, really, right? He's in position. Who gives a damn, right? 21. So if he falls off the road, too bad for him, right? All we need to do is to make sure that our yellow car does not die. And I'm in like Afghanistan. I'm in another zip code compared to you. So the relative time here is going to save you. Like if you as you get more experience, you'll get more used to looking at your relative display, and you'll say, "There's no one around me. There's no one around me who matters. I can take my time because I'm back here out of turn one, hoping someone kills you because I'm so far away. I don't have enough time to get paced to catch back up. So I'm like, I can only hope for acts of God, right? So
the only thing that you had between you and Devin was the entire fucking front straightaway.
Right, exactly. You are, way the fuck back over here, and I'm way back down here, right? There's no pressure. There's not even a race
Well, I
happening.
knew I was going to feel bad.
If I have a 10-second lead on somebody, I'm not taking any risks to put my race in jeopardy.
No, I said this to somebody in Discord earlier today. If there's a 10-second gap and 9 laps left, and you are catching me with a second a lap advantage, I don't give a damn, right?
Still win.
I still win. I finished with 1 second in my hand, and I still get the big ass trophy. So who cares, right? So
yeah, totally.
At this point, you have all the cards. You have the royal flush, best hand. You don't want to play it, right? You just want to wait. If I catch up to you by some miracle and start putting pressure on you, okay, fine, it's a different story because I'm going to race you and it's going to be a pain in the ass. And it's going to suck. But that's not going to happen today, right? You had the race one, and when we came out of the pits, I saw you when we came out of the pit stops, and you roared by me coming out of the pits, and I said, I'm not winning this unless you get hit. All right.
Here's another thought about you thinking losing time behind the back markers. When you eventually get past them, what is Devin gonna have to do?
Right, I have to do the same thing.
He's gonna have
Fight
to get
with the
past them as
same
well.
guys
He's
you
gonna
were
lose
there.
time on them as well, or make a risky move. So don't think about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, totally fair. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All you want to do is get by clearly and safely.
That's a terrible deja vu for me for my silver race because I had the same issue.
All right, let's see.
Well, wait. There's one
the
other
only
thing.
thing before we move on that might make me feel a little bit better is Larry. I don't think I hit you. Other people hit you because of my errors, but I don't think I.
No, wait a minute. I was mistaken. I think it was during practice you pulled the same move.
Yes,
because you literally spun me out at one point in this exact corner, and I think that was the issue I was talking about before. Because obviously this didn't spin me out, but yes, I did get contact and got spun out from before.
Well, so the advice I might give you that might actually make you feel better is that pressure is programmed. You only feel pressure because your subconscious mind allows you to be pressured, right? Because if I'm in this spot, I am singing the Rise of the Valkyries. I'm driving around going dun 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 dun, right? Because I've got this big lead over everyone, and I've got like 11 whole seconds. I've got 11 seconds to do whatever the hell I want. I've got all this time to just throw time to people in the crowd as I'm driving by, right? And driving by all the slow back markers as I make my way to the finish line, right? Picking up the roses and blowing kisses to all the beautiful ladies, right? Like I don't need to put any extra pressure on myself because I've already won the race. Right? Like as long as I don't die, the race is mine now. So ha 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 ha. Right? So a lot of this is learning how to program your brain to just relax. Like I get anxiety when I'm chasing down a car all the time because I'm just like, oh man, I really want to do this. But then I gotta remember I can only go as fast as I'm going. So that is what it is. Right? The only thing that can take me out is another person.
Helps. Yeah, that helps. Yeah.
Pressure is programmed.
Totally agree.
Pressure is programmed.
Alrighty, let's see. Wender says 804. Car 144.
Okay, 804.
Yeah.
804.
Here I think I left too many room for some guy, this guy to pass me.
Pretty cold car though.
Did you leave too much room? Is that what you said?
I don't know. I think I hit him.
Okay, let's back up a bit.
Can we look at my point of view inside the car?
Sure.
That's because I thought this guy was behind me, and I just drove to the right.
Okay, sure.
And I don't know if it was.
Oh, you're talking about this
I don't
next
know what
corner.
to say of this. I just hit the car, hit this guy.
Well, the
And
car that you hit is right now going to be in your blind spot, so your radar is probably telling you, but you can't actually see him.
yeah,
And so we go to the apex here, probably thinking that we're clear and fine, but I'm sure there's going to be a car right here that's
yeah,
just like, oh my god, right? But from your point of view in here, you can't see him, right? But your radar is screaming at you, saying something,
yeah, yeah.
right? So that is going to be a problem. And let's go back to the 27. Let's
The
see what the
relative
yeah
too.
the relative 2. Yep, the
You
relative
want
2.
to check, yeah, because you'd see both of these cars coming up quickly.
Yep, and the radar would also be telling you here, right? Hey man, oh, sorry, just completely fucked that up. Where are we? Here.
804 or so.
Yeah. Okay. What
Yeah.
happened? What happened after this? Anyway. This is what I was looking for.
Well, actually, Wender, why did you end up going so wide? Just to let somebody by early?
Yeah.
Because we're not even on lap 2 here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you miss your breaking point for turn 5? Is that what it was, or because that's turn 5 we're coming up on?
Yeah. Let's go
No,
back.
I think I was just trying to be safe with people around me, and
Okay.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
got a
I
car
was
inside him.
Yeah.
right, you know.
Well, he has a
That
run on him
Ferrari
up the
right
hill.
there
He
is
caught
inside
this
him.
guy. Yeah, you caught this guy. Now, he may be pulling away just ever so slightly.
Okay.
But at this point, if he's going to be this far ahead, and you guys are kind of battling, what I would do is brake early, let him go by, and then tuck in behind him.
Right.
Because the car that comes up behind you even further is even further back, and you would have been able to hold this position just by falling in behind him.
Yeah, because right now
I would say you gave up 2 positions. In the beginning of this corner, you gave up 2 positions.
Yeah, because you opened the door back here.
Unintentionally, but you did.
Yeah, you opened the door back here, and then now we're on the dirty stuff and can't turn really because the marbles you see are really close to you. So you're on a suboptimal line anyway. And now we're definitely in the marbles, right? So we're definitely not getting the traction now. And so the car behind you has now gotten that run off the corner. And I mean, he's alongside you, for sure. And now we kind of turned in on him a little bit.
Yeah, one thing that I've been doing lately in starting in like the midfield is trying to get into the train as quickly as possible. Right, you don't want to be 2 by 2 past like the first or second corner. So I try to just get behind somebody, and then and most everyone else is being safe too. So then there's much less chance of someone crashing in behind me.
By the way, let me ask anybody that was watching from outside the actual race, how did the first lap go? Bilbo, do you know?
That was cleanest. The turn 1 and turn 2 was a bit cleanest, and definitely was better than the pro race. Definitely. Because all the people was taking care about his car and the car of the other players. That was a really, really good start. Personally, from that I watched, so yeah.
Because as far back as I started in the group, I know that there weren't. I mean, there was a couple of door bumps and stuff like that, but there was no yellow flags called out, and I don't think turn 3 was an issue. Maybe a little door banging, but I don't think it was anything more than that.
It wasn't like a clinical destruction. Yeah. Yeah, man. Because normally that's what happens. It's like I get to turn 3 and I just see, and then there's cars just everywhere, and I'm just like, okay. I guess half of us are having fun. That's cool.
I was going to say we need to say thank you guys for being very intelligent about driving through turn 3 here, because turn 3 has been everybody's nemesis in every series.
Yeah, man. I got turned around in turn 3 in the silver race.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
All right, let's see who's next.
I have
Okay,
one more.
Wender has another quick question. He's got 1450 for
Okay.
car 144.
All right, well, we looked that up. Somebody was asking a question.
I mean, here I passed this guy, but I think it was not the cleanest way I could do. You know.
Okay.
I think a little earlier.
All right.
And
let's back up a little more. Let's back up a little. Let's start here.
Yeah.
I will have to say that following Mr. Acosta tonight, I was absolutely sweating balls trying to get past him. But the little bit of rubber banding that he had, I could not get close enough to get a run on him.
Yeah, I just parked it in the middle on the turnpike.
Exactly. But it was a lot of fun chasing the two of you in this early portion of the race. Yeah, you didn't get slowed down enough, and you ended up going wide there, Winder.
But
on the inside is not a bad place, but this is also the same place where everybody's been having an issue tonight too.
Let me
So
look at the 849 because there's a part of me that also kind of feels like we kind of turned, but I don't know if I'm being judgy.
I think he tried to stay outside.
I think. I just want
Yeah,
to.
me too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he gets crowded.
Yeah, I
he gets
actually went
crowded.
wide to try to avoid him.
Yeah, he gets crowded a little bit. Yeah, that's
No,
always the way.
I'm sorry,
That's always what I want to check here.
Mr. Joel.
Yeah, because we're kind of back corner to front corner. Yeah, kind of get crowded.
It was a good attempt, that's for sure.
Yeah, we just okay.
But a little bit far back. This is a little bit of a send.
So here's the thing. We're gonna go right up to the break point here, and we're gonna talk about something. So the closer you are to the actual racing line, the later you can brake.
Yeah.
Because if every corner's a U, right, you can brake later on the outside than you can on the inside. So if we're gonna try this, we have to brake early, right? Anywhere that we are off the racing line, we're gonna have to brake early, no matter what, right? No matter what corner it is, no matter where we are, we're gonna have to brake early. So you go out on the brakes like we did if we were on the racing line where the 489 is, right? So we're going to be carrying too much speed at some point because there's just not enough corner left. There's not enough road to do anything. So, this is the difference of 10 feet, right? But if you're going to try to do a sin like this, my recommendation is don't try to beat him through the corner. Just try to beat him to the apex. Like, get alongside him so he can't turn. And that's all you're trying to do. That's your only objective, right? Is to get the car slowed down to a point that he can't turn into your door and you can just hold him there for a minute and then turn. You could maybe
You're
get the corner
trying to
that way.
occupy the place that he wants to go to.
Right. You're just trying to occupy space. You're not trying to get through the corner fast. You're not trying to do anything. But you got to brake early so that you have some room to modulate. Because if you brake to, like, let's say, 10 feet back, you can kind of modulate a little bit. You could let off the brake a little if you had to, just to, give yourself a little bit more rolling speed, and then jump on the brake and then stop, just to come to like a complete dead stop, right? You might get it. You might not get it. Right? But you've got a much better chance than the rest of the speed you had when you rolled into them. So.
Well, let me also say this. I think a lot of people are trying to emulate or trying to do passes like they see racing on television.
Yeah.
Would you say that's true, David?
Like the F1 style pass? Yes.
Yeah, don't do F1 style passes. Yeah. Just don't. It doesn't work on these.
Because
we're not F1 drivers.
Yeah, first of all, these cars are a whole lot heavier. They don't have as much downforce as the Formula One style cars. And any pass that is even attempted in anything that you see on television has been set up either an entire lap before or several corners at minimum, several corners before.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, if you'll notice, it's usually in the braking zone, kind of like this one was. But you have to know for sure that the guy you're trying to pass is going to brake at an exact spot so that you can be inside the other car and brake a little bit later than he does, but still stay under control. And if we noticed what happened here, unfortunately, the braking zone was missed by at least a car's length.
Mm-hmm.
And in turn, he ends up going deep into the corner, then contact is made.
Well, and also, too, we have another driver that doesn't know this guy that well, so he's not going to just, skip the corner entirely just because of his friend. Right?
Right.
There are times where, like, I'll be racing a buddy and they'll miss a braking point, and I'm like, oh no, my friend. And I'll purposely miss the corner so they have room to survive. But if we're racing, that's probably not going to happen. Right?
Right. Exactly.
So, the other thing I was going to say about the F1 thing, F1 cars are terrible cars to emulate any sort of racing behind because the amount of braking performance and distance they have is so crazy deep. There are passes that aren't really passes, but they look like it from like the untrained eye. So there are a lot of times like you'll see like someone like Hamilton in a much faster car just like sizing through like AlphaTauris and McLarens and stuff. And most of the time, those slower cars are lifting because it just doesn't make sense to fight this car because it's going to destroy me and ruin my race. So you lift and he just sails on by and it looks like he just stuck it on the inside. When the car getting past, it's like I'm not racing that car. I'm racing other cars. So get away, go away, go away, go away. Because I can't keep up with that car. I'm trying to buy.
It sounds funny, but it's actually true.
Yeah.
Like that's legit what's happening.
Yeah, that's legit what's happening. I'm not racing that car. I'm in an Alpine. I'm racing an AlphaTauri. I'm racing a Williams. I'm racing much slower cars. This Mercedes or Red Bull comes up. The hell do I care about this thing in my way? Get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And so they lift and let them go by. Yeah.
Let him go chase the guy that I'm chasing.
Right.
That's technically what they're doing. They're allowing Hamilton to go fuck with somebody else.
Yeah.
So it slows them down so that I can make up the distance between me and him.
Yeah. They're like, please go get the guy in front of me. I don't want to fight you. I want to fight the guy in front of me.
There's one more reason why beating somebody on brakes isn't a thing in GT3s, and it's the fact that we have ABS. We are all braking against ABS anyway, so that there isn't like you can't be better on brakes, not much anyway. In F1, there's no ABS. You can actually be physically better on the brake pedal.
True. Yep.
Alrighty, let's see. Let's also do a real quick one for Wender also. Car 144 at the 1450 mark.
1450?
Did we already do that?
We did that one. That sounds
Okay, thanks for the excellent.
Yeah, I think we did.
All right, never mind. Sorry. I'm getting lost.
That's okay.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't need to be on that one. Bobby threw one out here. Oh, shit. Bobby's got 1, 2, 3. Lap 6, car 64, 1545.
64. Am I blind?
1545.
64? I don't see a 64 in here. Am I not listening to you? Nope.
Okay, go to 15, whatever the timestamp is. 1545, I think you said it was.
Okay, 1545.
Yeah, 1545.
Okay. And which car are we looking at? We're looking for Bobby?
You can look at my car.
Okay, let's go find
Bobby. Is this
Yeah,
the
five.
incident where you spun?
No.
It says, I slowed it way down so he had room. Bit chancy on my part, but they got to get used to it when they have a car with a run on them and the door is open.
I think I sent that one to you, Larry, too, on my part.
Are we talking about this one here?
I wasn't sure. Yeah, that's me on the Chrome
Oh,
Mercedes.
okay. All right. We're in the right place. We did it.
That's 94.
We did
Yeah,
it.
you just turned in on them.
Yep.
Yeah, I was not sure because the feeling I had the feeling if I turned any more to the outside, I wasn't gonna end up at the sand. So I think I turned what I needed to turn, but I ended up banging against him.
Well, more brake here.
I'm not sure if I.
More brake here really would have saved you, right? Because you can always slow down a little more before you turn. And what we did here is we got on the brakes and we turned into the apex anyway. So you're still trying to like go through the corner fast rather than just survive this encounter.
Bring the HUD up. Bring the
Couldn't we
HUD
call
up,
this
if you
a
will,
send on
Evan.
Bobby?
I was in second. Do what?
I said, couldn't we just call this a send on Bobby? He started from way back on this one.
No. I mean, I wouldn't even say that so much. Like,
I was just trying to see if there's a bit of a difference.
oh, okay. I mean,
Instead of going in third, I pulled it way down to second, slowed way down so he would have room on the outside. And like I say, it's a chancy thing,
Yeah.
but that's kind of
True,
part of my
true.
job running with you guys is
To give you a hard
trying to
time.
put the car in position to where you guys have to get used to it, if that makes any sense.
no, it does actually, Bobby, because there's a little bit of once you get into some of the other league or the other classes of like adaptation of things that you don't want to have happen, right? So like when you run
Yeah, and
bronze,
he probably didn't see me.
right?
No. I think I was looking at the radar at the time. I think I just turned right a bit more than I wanted to, because I knew you were there somewhere. Not exactly, because from my point of view, I can't see you physically. You're not on my screen anywhere. But the guy, the engineer called out, the radar was up, I just think I turned more than I wanted to actually turn, and
Yeah,
ended
I mean
up
that stuff
running into you.
happens.
Hey, I have a
I just
question
wanted to
really
bring it
quick.
up so we can learn from it.
Were you trying to concede that corner to him, or you're like just trying to let Bobby through?
No, I intended to stay on the outside,
Okay.
but as I said, I think I turned too much, more than
In
I
in
intended.
my opinion, if you're side by side in any of these side by side, like we saw a couple people go side by side through these fast right handers, but it's incredibly risky. So unless you absolutely trust the person, I personally would just concede these corners to build a run back on the front stretch if I'm actually racing this
JD,
person.
JD, you must not have you must not have talked with Demetrius much.
No.
He was not going to back out of this. It's all there is to it.
Well, I'm just
I've
saying.
talked
Like,
with
because it
Demetrius
was such
enough
a
to know that there was no giving up here. This was like, if Bobby wants to try and go side by side, try it. That's about all he was thinking.
I mean,
and
that's the thing.
Demetrius.
Like, you guys can't be all take and no give in racing. Like, yeah, you can temporarily
Right.
give up a
I
spot
know.
to gain it back later.
Right,
So,
right. Well,
Demetrius, since I put you in a really difficult position, that's why I waited.
I think I actually thought it was more on me on that moment.
Oh no,
I
no.
didn't think you
What
really
I'm saying
needed
though is
to wait.
I'm really pushing some of you rookies really, really hard.
Uh-huh.
Really hard.
Wow,
And I'm
wow.
trying to do it in a safe way, but I'm trying to also give you like a learning experience. Now, if this was going to be like a lifetime finish for you, I wouldn't do it at all. But right here, because I had the run on you, I did it. And like I say, it's risky on my part. You made the mistake by turning down, but it's very risky on my part. So, I'm partially to blame here, and that's why I let you back through. Because I'm not
Mhm.
trying to ruin you guys your race. I'm
Oh.
trying to help you guys race hard.
But I think it's a good experience for when you run against a stranger, right? Because I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, half the time when I'm running, let's say silver, I don't know the guy I'm racing. So we get up to here and we get to turn 6, and he's like, "I'm just gonna send it on him," and I'm like, "That's dumb," but it's happening. So what do I do? What
Yeah.
do I do? Right? Like, either A, I turn shallow; B, I concede; or C, I take the hit and decide to see what happens after I take the hit. I don't think I want to do the last one. So.
And I think in practice tonight, I think I got into Timothy Nielsen, and I apologize for that.
Ooh la
Again,
la.
just making it as hard as I can on you guys.
Well, you're good. No worries. It was
Javier, what
fun.
was that? I want that as a ringtone. Just ooh la la.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know what this is, but I
That's
need a
one of
ringer
those that
now.
everybody turns and goes, "What the
What
fuck
the
was that
fuck
sound?"
is
And you're
this? Yeah,
answering the phone.
exactly. Oh my gosh. Don't worry about it. It's a
All
long
right, let's
story.
see. Bobby's
No
next
worries,
one
bro.
is lap 8, car 51,
Okay.
1840.
All right. 1840.
1840.
I don't listen to him after a certain hour. All right, let's go from here. I just go where I want to go.
I have a feeling that Bobby's behind him.
Oh yeah, he is.
Poor boy.
Poor Bobby.
No, Bobby does this shit on purpose.
Yeah, I was
He's
gonna
out
say
here.
poor
He's
Bobby.
out here
My
battling
ass.
you
Poor
guys.
Bobby.
Completely my fault.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
But you notice that Mr. Snyder didn't give a fucking, kept right on going.
Yeah. One
Yeah.
one one thing I will say to this point is like when you're in house of practice practicing, it's good to let the car sometimes run off the track so you know how to gather it back up in a controlled manner. Because like sometimes I go too fast, or sometimes I get moved by Bobby, or like whatever happens, right? And I need to be able to be like, okay, I'm going off track, but I know how to let the wheel be straight and be soft with it until I can get back on track. I'm barely using any throttle. I'm just kind of coasting straight until I can get back on the pavement, knowing that I have dirty tires. I might get on the brakes early and then kind of get all that crap off my tires. But this
Hey,
isn't a
Davin,
yeah,
can you run this back a little bit and then go from behind my car?
sure.
One of the things I will say,
All
though,
right, so this
Tom,
guy
you
right
you
here, what
did
he should
not
do,
turn
he's
in
not in
early enough
here.
for this at all.
I'm sorry, two
He
people are
should have.
talking. What?
Well, I was going to say what I would do in this case is because I'm right behind him.
Hmm.
I would probably move over to the inside third of the track so I didn't have a chance to even think about it.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, so you have two options, right? Your first option is let's use speed as an attack mechanism, right? And go through fast and just hope I get there before he does. The second thing you do is you cover the inside really early and you make him go the long way around. So if I'm already here, I'm not moving from this spot, right? Because the moment I go left, if I'm the Ferrari, the moment I go left, I'm just asking for him to try it. So once you commit here, you got to kind of stay here. Because once this happens, Bobby's like, well, maybe I can slow him down. Maybe I can get next to him. Maybe. You don't want maybes. Maybes are how,
Yeah,
this is the result of a maybe. Maybe I could. Oh,
and
nope, I can't. Right?
and this is what I mean about pushing you guys really hard. This again, this is all my fault, and I'll always bring them up when I do this crap.
But
Because all I'm trying to do is teach you guys to be aware. If a guy's got to run on you, if you're leaving the door open,
yeah, because I mean, this
yeah,
easily also could have been you on the marbles, slightly slow in the exit. You're over by an extra, I don't know, let's say 6 inches to a foot, right? And Bobby just yards you. So from his
Yeah,
perspective, it's worth the chance. Oh.
I was in this exact situation during my race. If look at the first video clip I put in the rookie chat, you see I
Yeah.
defended that move to the inside because I did not want the situation to occur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like I'm over in the middle of the track on the inside there of the track to keep someone from looking on the inside there.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to give them hope. Hope is the worst thing a racing driver can have because we're stupid and we try to do dumb shit. You know.
You're the empire when you're on track. You
Yeah,
want to
no,
crush the
really,
track.
no, really, seriously. You like fucking JD's chased me. A bunch of other people chased me. I try to give no hope at all. I put my car in a very clear, obvious space that like you're gonna have to try something really, really dumb to try to get by. Because if I stay on the racing line and kind of give them an idea, that's when they try to go down the inside of me, or they bump a fender with me, or they try to like see if they can outbrake me for some godforsaken reason. So you just put it there, and you're like, no.
And I
Right?
didn't put
if you
this
do
in here,
something
but go to
dumb,
lap 3. Go to lap 3 in my car, and probably go to the halfway point and let it run.
and if you do something dumb, that just confirms to me that you are dumb.
Right, exactly. Yeah, honestly, fair enough.
Before.
No, man.
Just
I
let
mean,
it go to the second to last corner.
JD and I probably live in the same house of religion because I'm in the same spot, right? Sometimes I'll watch somebody doing something stupid and I'll just continue to watch them to see if they keep doing the stupid thing because it lets me know that they're not paying attention when we're racing. So then, like in an actual race, I know to give them more room or just to like really be clear, this is where my car is going to be.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, in practice, I do it to people all the time. I'll watch them in practice all the time as they're following me, and I'm like, that person has no idea where his car is or my car is. Got it. Got it.
So what I want the guys to see is because the guy in front of me, he can't help it. He loses his car, and I should have went a little bit wider or slowed down and let him come across the track. But pow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So right here, I'm just stuck, and I'm wanting to get out of the way, and I can't. So all I do is try to get it back over here to the edge out of everybody's way.
Wow.
That's
So
a
that's
good
not a
save.
rejoin. That's getting the heck out of the way.
Bobby, I'm giving you a humongous round of applause. 'Cause
Yeah.
anyone else, they would
Yeah.
go opposite way on the tracks to try and turn around.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir, for backing up. That is phenomenal.
Mhm.
I hope you guys
I
are taking
appreciate it.
notes.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many times I've died in races on here and iRacing where people have been dumb and try to flip turn or go the opposite way to traffic.
Well, it's
Do
And I
not
had that.
do that.
And
I
it's a lot.
appreciate it. I had the track map up so I could see all the little circles come through like ants before I finally turned it around.
Well,
There
the
goes my friend. There goes my
My
friend. There goes my
exactly.
friend.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, and the thing is
I
too,
was
is
counting sheep, falling asleep.
the thing is too, is that like people just don't know. Like I don't know it. No one knows it. No one really knows how long 3 seconds is in the real world. They don't know. And so they get spun and they're like, oh, I have 5 seconds. I could totally turn the
Yeah.
car around. Well, it took a second to put the damn thing in gear, and it took 3 seconds to turn the wheel to the left. So by the time we actually made the stupid decision, we're already used up 4 of our 5 seconds and we die. And it's like, oh, cool.
That's one of the
I
reasons why
brewed a
I
case
made
of beer
mention on
during
the
that time.
MFD. That's one of the reasons why I said when you're looking at the MFD, If it's less than 15 seconds, don't bother.
Don't even bother.
Because you're going to get run the fuck over.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Anyway,
next
that's it for
one.
me. I just wanted everybody to see he couldn't help it. This is what happens. I couldn't get out of the way quick enough, but as soon as I could, I just get to a safe spot and let everybody by.
Well, there is
That's
one.
the best thing you can do.
There is one learning I want to talk about from your incident, though, Bobby, from the very beginning, because you called it out, but I do want to bring it up. So when the Ferrari went off the road, let cars finish crashing before you try to do something with them, because they're not in control of their vehicle, right? So here, it would have been totally valid to just get on the brakes and almost come to a stop, and just let that car finish pogoing around, right, until you are sure it's going to be clear, because physics doesn't give a damn what you want, so it's just going to put the car wherever it feels like it. Just so it'll help
Yeah,
you.
and that's why I
Behind him,
said,
there are. Sorry, Bobby, but behind Bobby, there were like 3, 4 cars that are, I think, 2 seconds apart. I can't remember.
I don't care. I don't care at all. I give no fucking shits about that. That is literally everyone else's problem but mine. Because all I care about up here is, am I going to die or not? Right?
Yeah,
Everyone
we're
else.
going to hit this guy because he lost the car.
Yeah, because I mean, what are you going to say to everybody else? Oh, you hit a parked car? Like, that's their fault. Right? So you need to make sure that you can get through that safely. I don't give a shit about anybody else. I'm racing, right? So I need to, you know?
I had 2 choices and I made the wrong one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's funny, Davin. I had the exact. That's really good advice. I had the exact same thing. It was like on the final lap. It's at 47:15, but it's the exact same corner. A guy spins out in front of me. I try to sneak by on the right. He nicks me. I spin 430 degrees actually, but luckily I get back on track and finish, and I don't lose a place. But it
Yay!
was so close. It was
Yeah.
so close.
So just so you guys know,
I hope that guy wasn't me. Just saying, because I did spin at that corner in the last lap.
But just so you guys know, physics does not care about your feelings or what you want. Ever. 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 So whenever there's a situation of physics, it's going to be mean. And so when you try to outsmart physics, it smacks you in the face.
No, but I think what you said was that, because I saw it developing in front of me and I saw him spin and I thought, oh, he's coming over. He's not going to go all the way over. I can get by on the right side of the track. And so I kind of moved over and maybe dropped one wheel, but there wasn't enough space. What I really should have done was just slow down.
Yep, because
but see, what happened,
does
Ron,
not
was
care
you
what you want.
assumed.
Yeah,
I should let him, because he's out of control.
Physics doesn't care what you want.
Situation finish.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Physics is shaking around this car, and you're like, I can outsmart it. I can get by. And physics goes, ha 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 ha, smacks the shit out of your car. That's what happens, right?
That was my best finish ever. So I was just like, wow, you know,
That's
like,
awesome.
like only like 2 more turns. You know, my heart was killing me.
Well, it's funny. It's funny
It
though,
was
Bobby.
me.
It's funny though, Bobby. So like, even
Yeah.
when we were in this race, right? I saw the dust when I came around turn 7, and I said, well, someone's dead. Because I saw all this dust coming up here. And so I'm looking down the road and I see this crash happen down the road, and I'm looking at your car and I'm looking at the car in front of me, being like, I need to wait for them to crash or clear. And I'm way back here, right? Because I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm kind of just looking around and looking for you and looking for the Ferrari. And I actually let the Ferrari get back on the road because I'm like, he's already having a nightmare moment. He's probably going to have a panic attack on his own. And
It worked out perfect for him. I couldn't believe it.
Well, he ended up killing himself later. So about, let's see, where are we?
Yeah, I saw where he killed himself.
Yeah, he killed himself like I don't know, 10 laps in, and I was just like, it's fine. I think it's even here. Yeah, I think it's even, guys.
I thought it was with you and Sergio and him.
Yeah, it's going through turn 1. I think he dies.
It was.
Yeah. Because he outbrakes himself and his car wiggles.
But I got to apologize for Henry, because Henry came around that corner when I was sitting in the road and just had nowhere to go and just bam.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I was.
Oh, that
I
was a
didn't
hell of a
see you.
snap.
Yeah.
Well, so the funny thing is that I've crashed there a lot, right? So I never touched that curb. And so when I follow him, as soon as he went here, I went, he gone. He gone. He gone. He don't know it, but he gone. Right? And then his car is, you know?
When you make the car lift like that, you kill the aerodynamics, and immediately the car says, "Oh shit! There's
Yep.
nothing I can do here."
I can't grab
You
onto
lose all
anything.
mechanical grip. There's no arrow. There's nothing. It
Yep.
just slides.
He gone. And so the moment he
There was
wiggled,
a
I just
passenger the whole way down the hill.
And I watched his front tires. Like the whole time, I literally was only looking at his front tires. And I saw how much lock he was going to go in. And I was like, you know what's going to suck? Eventually, those tires are going to grip in the direction he's turning. Yep, bye.
Zoom.
He just drove away. I was like, he going to go left. He doesn't know it yet, but in about 2 seconds, he's going to go left. Whoop! All right, well.
Exit stage left.
Yep, that's one
All
more
right,
spot
let's
for me.
see. Luis Acosta has car 555 at 27:59.
27.
Guys, I just
And I
had
hate to
go.
tell you guys, but I've still got a shitload of these coming, so let's make these kind of short.
Okay. Alrighty.
Bye, everyone. It's 2 a.m. here in Brazil.
Go to
I
bed,
just had to
Winder.
go.
Go to bed, you dedicated, crazy bastard. Go sleep. I'm already impressed. Go to bed.
Okay.
Good driving, Winter.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, mate.
I really want a bunch of ringtone packages from you, Javier. My birthday's in January, so I'm expecting like a little gift package of just Javier ringtones. You don't even need to tell me. You just need to just drop me an email with just a little zip file. I'll know.
Okay, sure.
Oh dear.
Whee!
Nice.
Holy
Nice.
crap.
Okay, so
Holy crap!
let's see.
Oh, that was me.
Oh,
a Saturn V rocket has been fired.
Yeah, exactly.
If you play it a little more after this, I also get him on the next corner.
On the inside, brakes late, holds the brake, holds the brake, holds the brake, gone.
Yep. But he keeps trying. He's still trying. This is still
he's there.
happening. This is still happening.
He's
Oh,
there.
I did it again.
And yep.
Oh, we didn't learn from the last time, and then it happened worse. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a life lesson. When you fuck up once,
Now,
don't fuck up again.
hold up a second.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, before we go any further, did I
Yes,
or
sir.
did I not call you out during practice to brake earlier?
Larry,
You
I don't listen to you, Larry. I don't care what you have to say, Larry. I want to do what I want to do, Larry. You're not my dad.
I'm not saying I told you so, but
You're not
I
the boss
told
of
you
me.
so.
You're not the boss of me. I do
Leave
what
me
I want.
alone.
I'm gonna eat my pudding now. Screw you.
Don't take it personal, George. Larry doesn't even think you're a real person.
No.
He's made it
Well,
clear.
let's put
We're
it
all
this way.
none of us are real.
I tried my best to follow Johnson tonight, and I gave him a couple of tips. I said, "Look, man, you got to brake earlier. That's all there is to it, in every corner." And this is the result of whoops, braking late.
Yeah, late and late.
Yeah, I have to get better with trail braking because I just slammed the foot down. It's like, oh,
I'm
well,
sorry.
I'll just
No.
get
Let me fix that.
That
Let me
ain't,
fix
that ain't trail
We
braking, brother.
we
That's
got to get
throwing
better
an
with
anchor.
braking. Like it's not even trail. Like just stopping
Oh
first.
wait, hold up a second. Hold up a second. Let's not even go any further. Hold on. Move the cursor out of the way for a second, Darren.
Oh man.
Okay. TC of 6, TC of 6, and ABS of 6. Unfortunately, the Ferrari does not do well on the safe setup.
No.
No, and I'm not making fun of you or anything, but you really need to be braking a lot earlier because, like I said earlier, before the race, braking late is not your best friend. Also,
Well, there's also an important thing about this with the ABS being so high, right? So when the ABS is really, really high, the pad starts to judder, right? Because the computer's grabbing the brake pad, and right? So a high ABS will make it so you don't lock up, but it will also extend your braking distances. So
quite
that's
a
why
bit.
by quite a bit because the pads are going in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out because it's keeping the tire turning, right? So after a while, if you run ABS too high, all your brake distances will start to get really long because you're not locking up. It's not an anti-stop system; it's an anti-lock brake system, right? And so as you start to get used to lower and lower ABS, you'll have a little bit more feel to modulate the brake a bit, and then you can tune the ABS to like stop that last little bit of locking at the end, right? But at 6, it's just like pedal on, right? And it makes it impossible to do moves like that.
So George, how long have you been with 604?
This is my first series.
Oh, hi.
Nice to meet you. And you need to have a lot of time in the HOP, sir.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Believe me,
Hey,
I'm not calling you out, but it really does make a giant amount of difference for the fact that you can actually run laps and get used to the tracks and get used to the other drivers around you.
and
Yeah.
don't take anything that we're saying personal, or I mean, we
Oh
try
yeah,
to do all this stuff
exactly.
with humor, teaching.
Oh, not at all. Not at all.
He's like,
Okay.
"Dear Larry Foster, I hate you. I will never come back again. Love, Greg." George Johnson.
Dear Larry,
exit.
I quit.
I quit. The end. You know, though, if we got that, I would probably get a DM that just went "LOL, oops," and that would be it. Because I'd be like, okay. Yeah.
All right, let's
At this point in the race, I had like 2 seconds or 1 second of damage. So my point in bringing this clip up was just if you were more patient, because by doing this, you kind of just made it worse.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Okay.
I think the quick thing, real quick, to this is the important part. Really, is just more identifying when a pass is even on or started. And here we weren't on or started. We just were throwing a car in and hoping we don't hit shit. So more practice will help because you'll see them more clearly.
Yes, exactly. Seat time is your best friend.
Yep.
All
Next.
right, let's see. Same car, 555 at a 32:56 mark.
Okay, 32:56. Okay.
This corner I defended against Larry for many times. He got really close to me on this instance.
Watch how close we are.
Jeez.
This is
Oh
what-
my god. Oh my god.
I was
Damn.
Larry.
And that happened
so
like at
close
least
to him.
5 times.
I was
If I took a page
so
out of my
close to him.
Bible and tried to put it in there, it
Wouldn't
wouldn't
have fit.
fit.
It would not fit.
And Bibles are written on the thinnest papers known to man. They're
You-
like rolling papers.
You know where it says "do unto others"? That's what's written on the fender right there, just right when you slid right up there. "Do unto
Okay,
others."
now go ahead and pause it there because this is the next one I really was hoping he was going to send me, and he did. 33:29.
Oh look, we're at 33:28.
Same
There,
car.
we're right there.
Oh hey, sweet. Boop.
Whew.
Oh my god.
Boy,
Watch
oh
this.
boy.
Watch this. Watch this.
Oh my god. It's still
I
happening.
got a little bit swirly, and I stayed in it hard, and I finally got by him.
Ooh, Mr.
But watch
Foster.
this next one.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
he gave up, and I lost it.
Oh no.
Drive-through
so
penalty to Larry Foster.
Oh,
Drive-through penalty to Larry
I
Foster.
was so mad at that point. I am so
Oh.
glad we had push to talk on because I was making so much noise up there. My dad goes,
Oh
"Shut
my
the
god.
fuck up!"
Mr. Foster, the karma department has come to send you a message. One karma coming your way. One the karma.
Hey guys, just an
one?
FYI for anybody that's new. So Lewis and I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before, or maybe we did it for 2 days, but we went out and ran a lot of laps, and we would go side by side through a bunch of corners. And so obviously, you know, that stuff works. And if you touch in practice, that's the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly. I was very
This
impressed with trying to chase Lewis because I could not get around this motherfucker. He was like
Yeah,
driving
he's
a truck that was 50 feet wide. I just
Yeah.
could not do it.
yeah,
he's just picking up pace.
it's unfortunate we got. Well, you had the accident earlier, and I think I crashed into the dude, so I had some damage. But on this track, I find it a lot easier to defend if I just stayed kind of in the middle of the track.
Mm-hmm.
Because I figured on the last clip on turn 5, I'm still not the best at defending in the inside, so I figured you probably just would have gone to the left, and then I would have braked earlier. So, but just putting it in the middle, I just found it a lot easier to defend on this track on a lot of corners.
Well, you did a hell of a job, man. And believe me, I was pushing really hard to try and catch you and get around you. There's still just a little bit of rubber banding. You were kind of moving forward and back on me a little bit. So I had to keep about 3/4 of a car length's distance. And I figured with that kind of distance behind you, I had the ability that if you ever made the slightest mistake, I was just going to go rolling right by you. But it never happened. And literally, I was pushing really, really hard to try and keep up with you. A number of times I got either on my own or I got bumped. and I would come back, and then when I took my pit, I came out right behind you, and
Yeah.
who was ahead of you?
I'm not. I was in front of the whatever group we were in, and I was going to pit, and then I see you right behind me, and I'm like, man. And then you came out ahead of me in the pits.
That's exactly
I think
how exactly how I felt in my pit stop. I saw the leader go by, and I'm like, man, this sucks.
And then the worst part about it though is in the beginning of the race when we were so close, nose to tail for so long. I bet there were 15 cars behind us. We had the longest train of the entire track.
Oh dear.
And for the longest time, we were chasing that green car that was in front of us. I don't know who it was, but whoever it was, they were running for their fucking life. That's for sure.
Hey guys, I hate to run, but I'm gonna have to. I just want to say,
Oh, don't
good
worry,
racing,
Bobby.
everybody,
No
and
worries, Bobby. Bobby, we
and the
love you.
opening lap was probably the most impressive lap of all of the races that were run this week on this track.
Yep.
So you guys should be proud of yourselves.
Yep. Yep. I was impressed. I actually was looking in the
All right.
All
relative
right,
for that
guys.
first
Good
lap.
night.
Have a
Bye,
good one,
Bobby.
Bobby.
Good night. Thanks.
All right, Larry, how many more of these we got?
Oh God, if we went through them, there's 10 here from Demetrius,
Okay,
3 from
we're not doing all Demetrius.
My race was.
Your race
I just wanna before some of them. My race was eventful to say the least.
Oh no way.
I wanna. I just wanna see the formation lap at I think 6 and 30.
Okay.
Because I believe I started like 3 or 4 positions back from where I should have been.
Okay.
But I don't. I never moved from my position. I think people passed me or something.
This is gonna be your
Well, if
last
that's
one
the
because
case,
I'm
they
going.
should have gotten
It's
drive-through
the
penalties for
same
being
thing
out
that
of it.
happened. Same thing that happened on Autumn Park. A bunch of people changed positions on the formation lap.
There should have
But
been
in this case, I started. In this case, I ended up starting back from where I should have been. So
Because
this
people weren't paying
go.
attention.
Yeah.
Yep, and I told you guys not to drive through cars that you could go through.
I was supposed to be behind that white Mercedes up there, right to the dark green Ferrari.
Yeah. Jesus,
Okay,
guys.
well,
Yeah.
the widget, and how did the widget show you as far as the green thing that you're supposed to stay in the middle of?
I think I was in the green actually. I think people just
Well, if that's the
jumped a
case,
little.
you were,
and
well,
passed
if
me.
you were in the green of the widget, you were in the proper position, because
Yeah.
nobody got a drive-through penalty for being out of position.
Right. Oh,
Yeah, you said just
oh my
ignore
god. Oh my
driving through
god.
people.
What is this?
Oh
This
boy.
is the first I sent to.
Yeah.
I tried my best to avoid any contacts, but some were unavoidable.
Okay, so they were all avoidable. Just break here. Like.
or even before that. Yeah,
Ah!
you're breaking way up the top of the hill, day, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That
my
was all
god.
you, Bubba.
Yeah, this is luck.
You're
Like,
still
oh my
on the
god, we're
throttle.
not dying. Like, why? And then you kill Frank.
Somebody was looking in the mirror and went, "Oh shit, here he comes."
Yeah, you just ruined that man's brown and green car. Just fucking. And... Ah.
Oh, pink. Little karma.
Yeah.
Karma
You
time.
know, actually, honestly, yeah. After seeing that turn 2, yeah, that's the damage you should have gotten going into turn 2. Oh man. Yeah, no, I mean, for us up at the front, we just kind of stayed in the train for a long, long time. And like when I was here, you know, earlier I forgot who I was talking to, but I said, you know, I can't go any farther than the cars in front. I literally said I cannot go any farther forward than this pack in front of me. So I'm going to sit here for a little while because there's not a lot for me to do, and I can't force my way through and gain much. If I force it, I'm going to get whatever cars I don't pass. They're going to get farther away. So I want these cars in front of me to fight, so they come closer to me, rather than me going closer to them. Right? And you just wait. There's nothing to do. Right now, there is nothing to do. Right? You just kind of hang around and do laps and make sure my car's feeling okay, and watch the driving of the drivers in front of me, because I think Boyd is with me, Henry's with me. Right? There's a big old gap till 7, because the first 7 we all got away. So I'm not gonna do anything.
This is also where you want to drive your most consistent laps, because of the fact that the tires aren't quite up to temperature yet. They're not quite up to sticky yet. You're trying to make sure that you're going to be very consistent and smooth in all your inputs. And this is where you can really ruin a set of tires because you're, like I said, you're not up to temperature, you're not up to pressure. You can get a lot of graining on the tires. And what that means is basically you're driving on like grains of rice. Literally, it literally makes the car almost undrivable if it gets really, really bad.
Larry was
But
talking
you'll
to me.
note
Oh,
are
sorry.
understeers, this sort of thing. So
Larry was talking to me about it earlier in the week, and so I intentionally made sure to just drive a very smooth opening out lap and first few laps to prep my tire. Because I was like, I don't want to get into a position where I have pace and I can't use it because I'm wobbling on top of the graining. So I just took my time and I let everybody else die. And just hung around because I mean the farthest I can go is where the 75 is. That is literally where the lead of the race is. So what am I gonna do, right? Just hang out. Hanging out is probably the easiest thing you can do sometimes.
let's see.
Okay, pick one or two more, and then we're going to bed.
Let's see. John Henry has one. 1450 at car 489.
1450.
You already did it.
Oh, we did? Is this the one where you died?
Yeah, you did it earlier.
Yeah, this is when you died.
Yeah, that was.
Wasn't this when Winder killed you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is what it was like. It still sucks.
Okay, can we just here? Can we look at that turn one?
Sure.
I just was wondering if I should have closed the door on him because he had a run on me.
Oh, okay.
Because I gave him room in turn one.
Nice.
I thought he was closer than he was, but
oh, okay.
looking at the replay, I actually probably should have took my apex.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah, he was actually closer
look from
right
his car point because
Yeah, let's see where we are when we're Winder.
you see, I was starting to go for the apex, and he kind of dipped into my radar. So I gave him space. I just didn't know if I should have offended.
I mean, keeping your car safe is never a bad idea, right? Because going for the apex out of principle and getting hit always kind of sucks. This was kind of rough because it's like, if you did go to the apex, would he hit you? Maybe. Does he hit you in 30 seconds? Yes. So probably what's going to happen again. It kind of depends on the guy you're racing, right? So
this way you saved yourself in turn one, and in turn two, unfortunately, he bumped you off track.
Yeah. A part of it, I think when JD was here, he mentioned it. Part of it is also knowing some of the guys you race with, right? There are some guys I can race with, like JD's a perfect example. Ilpo's is another example, where it's like I know they're not going to throw it up the inside of me if there is a sense that they won't make it. So I can cut the front of them. I can do certain things to them because I know that they know how to adapt to me. Where other drivers I may not know, and so like it might make sense to just run a little bit offline if I'm a little unsure. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? The worst that's going to happen is a car is going to drive by me. The best that's going to happen is that I don't get my car hit. So cool, right? It's never a bad idea to give yourself a little margin for error if you think the other guy's going to make an error if you're just not sure, right? Never going to really hurt you. So, well,
all right, let's see. All right, George Johnson has turn two.
Okay.
It's either lap 24 or 25 between he and myself, but we were 3 wide. I think this is when we started to catch him.
24 or 25. Well, in 25, he's coming out of the pits. So is it when we were coming out of the pits?
Well, we ended up catching him, and we were 3 wide at one point.
Okay.
But it was in turn two for sure.
Okay. Maybe here?
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't know. Here, there, I am. I think. I don't know.
If he's ahead of us still, he's in front of you.
Okay. I don't think I ever got by him, though.
I think that's the 51.
Yeah, that is the 51. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's Kears. It's not Johnson. Okay. Maybe a little later, 26?
26.
I think it's right up here. Yeah, it's right up here into turn two here.
Oh, okay.
You're just taking such an inside line too, Johnson.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that was catching my attention when we were actually behind you.
Oh my god, and then almost murders Larry.
Yeah, that was close. And then I did murder Larry.
Oh, and then you did murder Larry.
Yeah, and I thought, yeah.
You straightened him out at least.
Yeah.
Do what now?
Yeah, you at least fixed him a little.
Him out.
Just touched.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Wait.
you know. Oh.
I let me ask you a question,
Got you
George.
right
What,
back on track,
what
though.
kind of wheel and pedals are you using?
So I currently have the Logitech G29 and the TCLM Thrustmaster pedals.
So you get
I have a
Thrustmaster with
Fanatec
the load
wheel.
cell.
I have a Fanatec wheel coming in like a week.
Cool.
Okay. Do you know for sure if your brakes are calibrated 100%? Because I think it's either going to be the ABS situation or you're not quite used to the load cell just yet.
Yeah, I just got these.
So just learning curve. Okay, not an issue. Not an issue.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that before you fire up the game next time, make sure in the Thrustmaster control panel that you're getting 100% brake out of the throttle, out of the brake itself, and the brake is not too stiff, so that you're using like excessive force to use the brake pedal. Because a lot of people like to, I'm going to use the stiffest brake pedal as possible. Well, all that does is make it really, really hard to get to 100%. So, what springs have you got in the pedals?
Just the stock ones. I didn't switch to the reds or anything like that. I was
Okay. So you shouldn't have too much effort then.
There's two aspects. The springs don't actually make any difference on the load cell. It's just how much the pedal moves, but not where it hits 100%. But you do want to check in the calibration software that the braking force setting is not excessively high. Like you need to be comfortably able to hit 100% brake.
Isn't that what I just said?
I don't know.
Sure, but the springs are kind of like 90 degrees to that, because you can use whatever springs and still hit 100% with the same amount of force on the pedal.
Because you're looking at the load cell pressure.
Right, but you still don't want it's kind of a preference who likes very stiff pedal and who doesn't. But yeah, the force is the same no matter what springs you use.
I'm getting sleepy. Can we do more or can we stop?
Let's see. Let's see what Ron's got here.
Guys, I'm probably going to hop off, but I just want to say thanks very much.
You're welcome, George. Good to have you around, man.
Practice during the week.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy to drive with you. It'll be fun.
I am on vacation for the rest of the week till Sunday night, so we're going to be trying to do HOP as much as possible.
Doesn't have a life.
All right, man. All right, cheers, guys.
All right, man.
Bye.
All right, Ron has one at 47:15. This will be the last
We
one.
haven't seen Ron all night tonight. Oh,
Yes.
man.
This is probably comical.
Sorry in advance. Sorry, really sorry.
No. This is purely for entertainment.
To your credit, I didn't even feel the hit. It was really like I didn't even notice someone hit me.
Oh yeah, you tried to beat physics. Oh no!
No,
Keep watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the 430 it was talking about. That was cool.
I used up all my luck.
You used up all your luck. It's just spinning out of the
I
car.
have no
right
more
now.
luck.
No more luck.
I have no more luck.
Exactly.
If this is a real car, the tires would all be flat spotted. There'd be this streak down the side of the car, and they'd be like, "What the fuck happened to Ron?"
And it would be the worst riding.
Yeah.
But this was stressful because this is like, I mean, literally, this is the final lap. We're going to just finish right here, right? And I'm 12.
You're
that
12.
never happens.
Yeah, that never
right?
happens. I
that
know.
never happens.
Yeah, and Ron's in the
right?
top 15 right now. We're like, what the hell?
Yeah, that never happens, right? So
yeah. If I'm Ron's team manager, I'm the whole time I'm like, turn off all your radios, do not talk to him. Like, let's just get the race over. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, so stressful.
No more messages for the rest of the race. Just let him drive around. Oh my god, well, cool.
I almost ended the race for you, man. My race was terrible.
That's not your fault, though.
Very
That's
terrible.
not your fault. You don't need to apologize
No,
for
but
anything.
back up, Gavin. What you're saying is, let's go slow on this. I should have just braked and I saw this happen.
You saw this happening, right? Like you.
And I just thought, oh, I can just slip by here, and I'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Let me just.
I should have really stopped.
Now,
I should really just
I
slowed the car down.
I do have to say that what I said earlier before we before we started the race, I said if anybody is going off track and you come up on them, head to where they're not going to be.
Yeah.
This car is.
Okay, I thought he was going to stop.
Right.
The reason I went to the right was because I actually didn't think he was going to go all the way across the track.
The same thing I did. It's the exact same thing I did on the Alton race with Jason Manchester, I think is his name.
Yeah.
On the pit entrance, I thought he was gonna stay left and try to squeeze my way out, but then I ended up contacting him.
Yep.
And
because his car
we were working off.
spun all the way around, right? So I would have thought it would have just carried off to the left further. I didn't expect.
So
right.
remember before, right? Physics does not care about what you want, right? So
Yeah.
it's best to just let this car stop.
No, but I thought he would keep carrying to the left. See, I thought he would keep carrying to the left.
But physics doesn't care what you want, Ron. Physics doesn't care what you
No,
think.
but I thought the momentum of physics would have just drifted him.
Physics doesn't care.
So Ron's actually right though. It would have gone left if he would have put both feet in, but he didn't. He left his foot off the brake too much.
Exactly. Yeah.
But still,
Can you show the control inputs from the 94? I think that was spinning, because there may be a lesson to learn here.
I think I just got off the brakes. I really didn't think someone was behind me. So maybe that was it.
Case, if you've lost it, you should be on the brakes 100%.
100% brake. You would actually get a penalty in a stewarded race for this, because you are not on brakes and you are out of control.
Yeah. Not trying to stop.
That's the point I wanted to make. There's nothing else really here. But as soon as you feel that you are not in control, like it's fine
out
to
in the
try to
grass
recover,
and sideways.
it's fine to counter steer. But at the point where you kind of given up that, okay, I'm just gonna wait this out, at that point you need to be on brakes, hard on the brakes, and stay on the brakes until the car stops, and then figure out what to do.
And back to Ron's point and somebody else's point, where like they're trying to rationalize what an out of control car is going to do. Don't, right? Just stop and don't hit it, right? Because it doesn't matter what you think the car is going to do. There's a human being inside making poor choices. So you need to let that car just stop
I
moving.
can confirm that.
Right?
I can't attest that.
It doesn't matter what physics doesn't care what you want, and there's a human being inside making poor, illogical choices that you can't predict. So you have to let that object stop because it is chaotic.
Particularly because it was the last lap. I should have just been
especially because it's
braking
the last lap, Ron. Right? This is a real
last
race.
lap,
I've been choking
and I'm
you.
12th, and I've never been 12th, so I should have been full on the brakes at this point.
Yeah, you stop and you let that car hit the wall, and you go, sucks. Right? Maybe you finished 13th. Maybe. And I'm like, wow, we finished in the top 15 and we didn't wreck our fucking car. Like, woo! Right? But in this case, the whole time, I'm like, he's dead. He's dead. He's probably dead. He's still dead. You could get collected by another car that tries to do the same thing that you're trying to do, right? Because now you're in the same position.
Yeah, no, so I was thinking about what Ilpo was saying, that I should be full on the brakes, but I said, no, I'm too close here. I'm going to rotate all the way around. So I just let the car go because I thought.
But the thing is, on yours, you still have enough speed that you still could do something with it, maybe, right? So you're still countering. You're still trying to bleed speed off. Like, you still have the right to control your car. Right, but at some point you're gonna have to get on the brakes and stop. But in the middle of a 360,
I felt the rotation was going to take me all the way around. So I said, I'm going to just let it.
Let that happen. Yeah, because it bleeds speed off by letting the tires scrub across the ground. Right, so that's a fair thing to do. But like, don't try to beat moving cars. It's not a movie. You just die. Right, like here you get on the brakes, and here you just go the opposite way the car is going. Worst case scenario, you slightly bump the 94. You just go think. And you go, that's fucking stupid. But your car's fine.
It'd be better actually if I hit him in the rear than letting him hit me in the rear. That's
right,
the point.
Exactly. Right. Here, you're at the mercy of this silver car.
Yeah, if I'd gone the other way, I would have spun him.
Right.
And I'd had front damage, and then I could have
You
withstood.
still would have grumbled about it, sure, but you would have had more control over your car and way less risk, right?
Yeah,
And you'd be like, okay, okay.
Quick question for the 94 car. What's the guy's name?
Demetrius.
Okay, sorry. I thought it might have been my brother, and I was going to tell him he should be putting both feet in.
Actually,
that wasn't me.
One thing you can consider.
Sorry, Mike. You jumped off, and I didn't know they changed your number or not.
Ron, one thing you should consider, and this is like a blink of the eye type thing. The back of his car is in the grass. Okay, his front tires are on the blacktop. If he's smart, he has turned his wheel to the left to try and counter steer. The only thing that's going to happen to this car, if he's on the brakes, is he's going to slide around. The back of the car is going to come around, or if he's still straight,
front wheels could have gripped. I just thought he was going to just keep carrying and sailing left. I didn't. At this point here, I've already made the mistake. I just thought he was going to keep carrying left across the dirt. That's what I thought was going to happen.
There's a reason why he's not going that way, and it's the fact that he's not on dirt, he's on grasscrete. There is a runoff grasscrete on the left here, and he's still partly on that. So he has more. It's not like he's on no grip surface.
He's got grip. He's got some grip. Okay.
Not much, but he has some grip. So he's not actually sliding as much as you think he is.
Right. But also too, we don't want to drive his car. We want to drive our car. Right?
Exactly.
So that at the end of the day, I don't care whether he does everything correct, right? I don't want to be involved in his mistake. I just want to let him crash all on his own.
Here, just full on the brakes, and then I have a choice. If he stops his car, I can go right. If he doesn't, I go left. But just full on the brakes. I'm straight at this point. I could just be full on the brakes and be fine.
Because you want to put your car in a safe, open spot, right?
Yeah.
Trying to shoot through the middle is the most reckless thing you could do.
Sliding by an accident is death.
Well, because you slid by the accident and then became an accident.
No. That's the lesson. The lesson is don't try to slide by an accident.
Don't try to slide.
There were two other cars right there. They were actually quite nice to me. They actually could have passed me, but they let me kind of do my little dance. And
yeah, exactly. I don't even know who the cars are around you, but I don't think they're driving it where you are. Oh, here we are. Here's Felton, and where's Felton? No, where is he? I don't know who this is. Who is this?
This is Fagan, rookie Fagan.
Yeah,
it's
that's Fagan.
And then who's in front of Fagan? There's you
Stork.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm tired and don't care anymore. Let's find out. I want to go to bed. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Stork.
There it is.
Anyway, we did have a few extras left over, but
I'm going to bed. No, but see, Stork did what I wanted you to do, right?
Yeah.
He got on the brakes, and he's just like, no, lets the thing finished, right? And then just drives by, like just no harm, no foul. And he brakes for you too, because he's like, I don't know what Ron's doing. Right? And then drives right by you. And he's like, oh, okay, well, good luck, everybody else. And then brakes again, because he's not sure if you're going to come on.
No, he was nice to me.
Play of the game. Play of the game. He's like, nope. And then gets back on the road when he's safe.
Yeah, he was nice to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Alrighty, I'm going to bed now.
All right, guys. Thanks for all hanging out. I appreciate it. And you guys did an excellent job. We did have some boo-boos to look at. We had some great stuff to look at. So let's all learn from it.
Thank you.
I had a lot of boo-boos in this race.
It's fine. They're all learning moments, right?
Lot.
You learned a ton.
Yeah.
We will have
thanks, coaches.
HOP flipped for Silverstone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right, because we're not doing anything next week because of the holiday. So it's going to be Silverstone.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, everyone. Have a good one.
All right.
You guys have a great time.
Nice.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.